Go live. Whoa, baby, baby, baby. We are officially live here with the Fireside Chat. This is my guest tonight, the illustrious, the immortal Paul the Punter.
Am I mortal? I'm currently dying of allergies right now. If anyone is sneezing, sniffling, I apologize 1,000 times. I have some tissues here. That is why. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, Joe.
Yeah.
And yet there's something in your garden that I'm drastically allergic to the point where we had to go out and buy allergy stuff immediately. Because I've just shoved way more up my nose than I need to. And if anyone takes a soundbite from this show, then that is it.
I'm here to tell you right now, you chose the inopportune time to visit Sacramento. Right now, spring is coming in, California is beautiful, and you are damned lucky that this orange tree is not in full blossom.
No, it's, do you know what it is? It's grass.
Yeah.
I know I'm allergic to grass because I've studied this over the many years of having hay fever, or whatever you may call it in North America.
What is it in grass that stirs up allergies? I can see pollen like floats in the air, but does grass do that?
So as the year goes on, there are different seasons, right? This is from work. I used to work in pharmaceuticals. This is like if you get hay fever like now or whatever, you got to find out what is sending out their pollen, and that's what you're allergic to.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it changes all the year, but
it makes sense.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, no worries. We're here. It will be no more sniffling the BKXC broadcast that we did, where we were just eating hot sauce.
No, you were
just absolutely dying. It'll be no different than that. Okay, one thing that's important to get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul the Punter's a professional YouTuber, if you're unaware of this. And what he's told me is that tonight, right out of the gate, I got to tell everybody to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button.
If you are not already subscribed.
Correct.
And if you are subscribed, then get someone else to subscribe.
Wait a minute. If they're already subscribed and they hit the subscribe button, will that unsubscribe them?
Yeah, just make sure it says subscribed. Also, it's free.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, more than you would expect, think that you have, like, if you subscribe to someone, you have to pay something. Yeah. That's why it's like a few years ago, everyone was like, subscribe, it's free. And it's actually starting to come back around again in people when they talk about it. It's quite interesting.
It's a good point you make there. That's one thing. What do they call that? The call to action. If you're a YouTuber in general, you have to give a call to action because people won't do it unless you ask them to.
Yeah, humans are stupid, so you have to tell them what to do, and then they do it.
Dolphins, on the other hand, if they start watching a YouTube video, immediate subscribe.
Yeah, don't be more like a dolphin. Be more dolphin, like Flipper here. Yeah. Flipper is dolphin gray.
Is the name of that bike actually Flipper?
Yeah, this is Flipper, and then this is DJ Panther.
DJ Panther.
DJ Panther, because it's a trance DJ, whoop, whoop, and then it's very stealthy, like a panther. So DJ Panther.
It's all making sense now.
Also,
earlier you made these references to these names, and I wasn't quite sure you fully actually committed to them, or if you were just trolling me. But it's true, you've committed to this.
Yeah, people probably think that I name my bikes and it's kind of a joke. It's like, no, I legitimately am riding down the trail, and I'm like, let's go, DJ Panther, come on, or Flipper. Flipper's the best one right now. So fun.
Little odd looks. I'm amazed that it works, but it does, and that's why we're here tonight. We're here to talk about bikes. We're certainly not here to talk about golf all night long, although we are going to talk about golf, because what did we do today?
Yes, so happy.
We played some golf today.
Oh, well, I'm not happy, but anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on to from the golf topic and move on and plenty of stuff. Tons of people in chat, Trail Dogs in here from Southern California. They're an amazing group.
Oh, they were hilarious at the Sedona Festival. So funny.
They are always a good time. Oh, look at that. We got seagrass right there. We'll dive into that a little bit later.
Not spawn.
Who else is in here? Riding Dirty's in here. AJ's in here. Riding My Best Life, of course, is in here. And Mediocre Mountain Biker, Octodad, Pat Hoffman. So many people jumping into chat for the Fireside Chat. It is a Saturday night, and I think we're really getting lucky tonight because we got a little bit of rain on today when we were golfing, and it's still a little bit cloudy in the sky. It's entirely possible that all this expensive equipment will get rained on at some point tonight, but I am crossing my fingers that it does not.
I think we're going to be okay. I mean, they don't look like rain clouds.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Russian F1 driver. For those of you who've watched Drive to Survive, they'll get that reference.
Fun fact about Paul the Punter. He is an expert at documentaries, and he's been telling me about a couple of them.
Oh,
now, this is a documentary series on the F1 racers, right?
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's incredible. Like, the cinematography. I started randomly watching it, maybe season 1.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I was like, this is the most well-filmed thing I've seen for ages.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The same people that are doing that, they're going to start one this year on the PGA Tour for golf.
Wow.
So they get it, and everyone's calling it like, oh, you could also call it Drive to Survive, because Yeah, obvious
The
reasons.
question is like how much of that, I haven't watched it. So like most reality shows or whatever else eventually becomes a scripted ordeal where
Oh,
it's
no,
like,
it's
so in this case, it's
legit.
actually like, you could tell stuff's just happening.
Oh yeah, and the team bosses are like swearing at each other and calling the other one a dickhead.
Yeah.
Wait, what? How language-wise?
There is no restrictions to a fireside chat. Fireside chat's two people sitting together talking like they would normally talk. That's what we're doing.
Oh, I'll try and tone it down from normal.
Okay,
talking.
well,
I
Robert
realize
was
how
here for
bad
a
mine is.
record-breaking 3-hour live stream, and there was a lot of obscenities uttered between him and I. So.
Wait, Robert, so I always try and leave some kind of impact if I do a live stream. So
Yeah.
Robert's was 3 hours long.
Yes.
We're going to have to try and...
We're not going to break 3 hours tonight.
But we have to. It's like, that's my
No,
thing.
dear God, no. Chat, you try to convince him otherwise, please.
Oh, yeah, and also if I'm looking at my phone, everyone, I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah.
I'm not just like figuring out what Wordle was, which I've already done today, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, Paul was explaining World to me, and I still don't quite understand it, but there's plenty of stuff to talk about tonight as we jump right in. As you guys know, Paul the Punter is an accomplished YouTuber, and he's also got a secondary channel, which is all about golfing. We'll talk about a little bit about golf tonight. I'm not the most skilled golfer in the world, but we did some golf today, so we'll talk about that.
You punched way above your weight. See, as I said, your golfing is
Yeah.
like you can go out and just have a good time with friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not stressed about anything. You just hit the ball up there and then it goes in the hole.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, but you definitely kind of checked out. You had an amazing start. You were beating both me and Jay,
Yeah.
as in Bike Som,
Yeah,
who was
Jay
a
is a
professional.
golf professional, yes.
He was a
professional
professional
golfer.
golfer. Yeah.
It's his full-time job.
Yeah, he's not a great golfer. Oh my God, that's one PT USA quote, which
yeah.
we will probably talk about later
Yep,
on.
true,
In depth.
yep.
But yeah, you were on this after the third hole. You were beating us.
Yeah.
Like that was fact. You had fewer strokes than we did.
Yeah.
And I felt terrible.
I think I pretty much said in the parking lot, prior to even getting in the cart, going to the range or anything, I was like, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to be pretty decent the first 6 to 8 holes. Then after that, it just all falls apart.
Yeah.
And was I correct? I predicted the future.
Literally to the hole number, actually. You put one in the water, and then it was just like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, Joe, like keep it going. Like you could do something.
I know.
Anyway.
Then I proceeded to basically like use the golf club as a simulated cannon as we rode the cart around the golf course, just like a child would. Just like a child would.
Taking out the bad guys.
Certainly not the next Tiger Woods, that's for sure. So we just got back from the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival. That is something I've done for the second time. The first time was when we circled up in November, which wasn't that long ago. I wasn't actually going to go to this one, but I ended up going anyways. And it's still an interesting experience. We got a little bit of inclement weather this time, which I don't know how common that is at the Sedona Mountain Bike Fest. You go on the normal time, which is normally March, right? Is it like, is there a chance of rain at any one of the March events?
Well, yeah. The first one I went to, I just got back from New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's 2019. And then I just kind of drove like pretty much, I think in 2 days, straight down from Squamish. And I like pulled up super late. I was in the rooftop tent, which was one of the worst ideas I've ever had in my life. And then Shane and RC come and pick me up. And I was like, okay, where are we going to ride? And they're like, oh, we're going to go ride in Phoenix, which is another 2 hours away. I was like, I've just driven 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh no, it's too wet here, so we have to go.
Well, that's what happened this time. Like I basically showed up Friday night, everybody Saturday morning's like, it's going to rain tomorrow, so we're all going to drive to Phoenix. I was like, I just got here, man. We're going to figure out a ride situation. So what we ended up doing, which is pretty fine, is just walking around the festival and talking to people and everything. And that, like, honestly is just as fun as the riding, too, is just meeting everybody, talking with people, and kind of networking in a sense. But we always get into hijinks over there. We didn't film any crash zooms this time, unfortunately, but we had considered
Did we? I could have sworn I pumped at least one in somewhere.
It's possible.
Crash zooms.
I do have a great take where I discovered that snow is in fact ice just poured out from a cooler from someone, but
like, is this snow? No, it's not. It's not, mate. Easy.
I'm not the brightest guy in the world, all right? I never said I was. I don't even want to argue that I am. So, like, with Sedona Mountain Bike Fest finished, the other fests that are coming up is like Sea Otter, which is pretty distant for you. You've done Sea Otter before.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere to ride in Sea Otter.
Actually, my worst injury. Oh, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Worst injury I've ever had happened at Sea Otter on my 30th birthday. Someone elbow dropped me right in the penis.
How did that happen?
I mean, so we're packing up. I'm pretty drunk because it's my 30th birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll do what I want. It's my birthday. Go away. And then we're packing it up. And then, yeah, this guy just that I work with just like jumped on me and managed to elbow me right in the penis.
Wow.
And then what proceeded was just like the worst week of my life, I'd say. I wouldn't wish it. I had to have a catheter put in.
Oh.
And just the whole process, we'll get demonetized if I explain the whole
Sure.
process. But yeah, I had to have a catheter in, and it was just like, you couldn't imagine more worse timing. Like, I had this big project that I had to do where I was sending people to Norway. Sending people to Norway on this boat trip, and I had to get that wrapped up. And then my mum and stepdad were flying over to spend a week.
Yeah.
And like the whole time, I called them up and was like, hey, like, just so you know, I've got a bag strapped to my leg. And just like if you've had one, if someone is about to tell you that you're about to have a catheter, expect the worst. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, as a male, like, it's gotta be up there. Anyway, so that's what happened to Sea Otter, but
here's my question
most of the time it's
Here's
pretty
a great idea. Here's a pitch for an idea. For anybody that has to have that happen, could they possibly route that to a camelback and ride?
No.
No.
No. Let me tell you, I was 30 years old. I had my first prostate exam. Go from there. Like, that's all. Yeah. You're getting roasted by this
I know.
right now.
But this is the job of the host here. I sit here and I absorb all the smoke, and the guest can just sit back in the lap of luxury.
Yeah. It makes you look quite mythical, actually.
I know.
Like, I look at you through the smoke, almost as though I'm on some kind of crazy trip trying to find myself, and there you are, the person giving me the answers. Wait, is that actually happening? Wait, is this real?
That's kind of how it works.
Okay.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we do here.
Okay.
I have considered making a venture to Sea Otter.
Wait,
now,
one second.
Yes.
Because there's 54 people watching this.
Yeah.
And there are only 14 likes on the like button. So can we please just take your cursor or your finger if you're on a phone and just take it over to the thumb button and hit it and make sure that it's solid in color. That's how you know you've hit it. It really helps people understand the stream. Also get into the chat away. Just type as much as you like. Spam it, who cares? You know what I mean? That's what you gotta do. Okay, we're back.
This is why Paul's a professional YouTuber and I'm not, all right? He even last minute mocked up a thumbnail.
Not bad, like, come on. Oh yeah, I changed the thumbnail. I was about to go and have a shower.
Yeah.
And then I just saw the title and everything. I was like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Give me your laptop and Photoshop and we'll string something together.
It was like the perfect scenario that I would expect between you and I. It was basically me over here chopping wood for the fire, and then you're like, your thumbnail's shit. So it's time to redesign and get the title and all. I'm like, Paul, I got to chop wood. I got to get the camera signed up. You're like, give me your laptop.
Yeah.
Boom. And then you're like, it should be a Mac, but it's not. I know it's not a Mac, but we made it work. You open up Photoshop and you work wizardry, which is something I can't do.
Look, if anyone can think of a better title for this live stream also, please put it in the chat and we'll see, and we could change it live. Like this is the kind.
Can you do that? I don't even know how to do that, Paul.
Yeah, we can.
Oh my God.
Just do it. Let's see what happens. Maybe someone will come up with a better title. Actually, my most viewed video of all time that I have, the title came from someone else, not me.
What is the most viewed video you have?
This is who e-bikes are for. When I took my old housemate Brig out for his first e-bike ride. We were in the car, just driving along, and he just goes, "Hey, I've got the title for this video. This is who e-bikes are for." And I was like, "Shut." Oh yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I was like, Brig, that's actually genius. That's okay. That's what it's gonna be. There you go.
While we're here and we're on the title of thumbnails and like you're right, so you could be a self-professed genius when it comes to titling and creating thumbnails. But I think one of the things I've learned in general is simplicity is key, especially if you want to reach a major market or a major audience versus like, this is how my specific bike does this specific thing versus, and you're a lot more general, like, is this the best bike? Maybe you can describe what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say?
It's because you're qualifying your audience for them.
Right.
If like, if I say, if you say like, oh, I have this really like unique bike in the title.
Yeah.
People are going to go, well, I don't know what that is. Why do I care?
Yeah.
But if you say like, if you make generalized like, something like this unique bike is game changing on the trails or something, that it piques someone's interest.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I remember PewDiePie did a whole thing about titling and thumbnails and everything. And how he would say was that if you looked at a piece of art, like the goal of the piece of the art is to kind of make you question what it is. It shouldn't just explain itself. it should make you inquisitive, like, oh, what scene is happening here? Like, what does this mean? Like, and question it. And that's kind of what a title and good thumbnail do, is that they want you to find out more, so you click on it and then watch the video. Because the only two metrics that YouTube care about are click-through rate and how long the audience watches it for.
Right.
Those are the only two things that matter.
Right.
Nothing else.
Something like, for example, if you said like, this part changed everything or something like that, right? And you're having a point towards something on the bike, and like, which part is it? What is it? Like, I want to click in and see what the part is that made the change, or this. It's something like that, right?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. And then if a lot of people do is that they will just like duplicate the title into the thumbnail and have exactly the same text, and that does make sense, because then you've just got two things. Whereas you actually, I look at it like a real estate space, right?
Yeah.
You've got this huge rectangle that has the title here and then the thumbnail over here, and you've got to use that space to your maximum. So you want the title to kind of parry off almost with the image. That's when it's perfect.
Yep.
And it's not like I only have a handful. I'd probably say only like 4% of my title and thumbnails are really like, oh yeah, that's gold. Like, it's perfect.
It's so interesting because you simply just have to hook somebody. Like, we talk about click-through rate, the idea that how many people see it and click it, right? That's what click-through rate is a general term.
How many times your video gets shown to a potential audience,
and
then how many people then click on it and actually want to watch it.
Actually take action. And then of course, in addition to the click-through rate, you have the retention rate, which I think, what's the term for that again?
Like retention.
They stick around. Is it retention?
Audience retention.
Yeah, audience retention.
Yeah, so it's basically like if you have 100% of the video, like what percentage of people, what percentage, it's a good point. How do I say it? Like, if you have, your whole video, what's the average amount that people watch the video?
Yeah.
And
how long do they stick around, basically? How long do they stick around?
Yeah. And the dream is to get something 70% or more.
Yeah.
So that e-bike video, right? So click-through rate has to be above 10% if it's to be considered good.
Yeah.
If it comes out at 6%, which is kind of what my Patrick video did.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, like if it's 6%, it's like you're in all kinds of, so it's either the topic is not good enough or the thumbnail and title is not good enough.
Right.
Like it's not just, oh, I've made a bad title. It's like sometimes you can only do so much.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not something people care about.
Right.
So that's just how that is. And then the retention, so the e-bike one, it was like the click-through rate was like 15% after a whole day, and then the retention was 70%. And I'd never seen that before, and I was on even all the videos I made at Pink Bike, because I'd left Pink Bike at that point, and I was just like, 70%? This could be good. And then it had like, what was it, 300,000 views in 48 hours.
Wow.
Or something like, it was crazy, and I just couldn't believe it. And then my next video was just like me buying random stuff for filming, and I think I got like 4,000 views or something. And I was like, oh, balls it up. Yeah, so many times have I made a very good video, and then just the next video is just not as good.
How often do you think like that affects people? That's like, for example, somebody goes, hey, I like this guy, I'm gonna sub, because this is something Seth talked about in a recent podcast with Pink Bike. And he said, so the idea is like, okay, so say for example, you make an incredible video, people jump in, they get involved, and they subscribe, like, this guy is amazing. Then they go watch another video that's maybe weaker. Do they take action and unsubscribe? I think that's probably unlikely.
So. I think there's a lot of friction for someone to actually unsubscribe. You have to really do something, or like I unsubscribed from a bunch of channels the other day, and then you just kind of do it all in one go, and it's like, oh, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. But
I think like, because one of the things he brought up, he's like, oh, I would absolutely delete videos off my channel that I think were weaker than the others, and I'm like, I don't need to do that because I can't make that much content. First of all, he's making 2 videos, or like, he's making a ton, right? But like, does that really hurt your brand? That's debatable,
probably,
I guess. But
could do. Like if you think about it, I mean, you should never really think about stuff from your perspective, because you've got to take the general. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I wouldn't watch this, therefore that. Like that's terrible. Like what a way to do business, you know?
Yeah.
But if you look at it objectively and said, okay, what if 100 people saw this video and then they didn't like it? Like that's probably enough. And there's probably videos I should delete as well, but I don't know. They're just going to disappear into the ether of YouTube at some point,
That's
and
what
just
I
never
think too. Like
surface.
they're that deep. Somebody's really got to hunt for that video. Like
But
at that
Seth,
point.
Seth has a channel that people will binge watch all of his videos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably more of a thing because he's been so consistent at making good videos, whereas I have not. A lot of my videos
I think people do
suck.
that with my quality content too. I think they binge quite a bit, Paul.
Do they?
No. It's evident.
You can figure it out. There's also a metric somewhere that's like average amount of videos watched.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what that was or what that's been, but you know, I think years ago, Brian got like this YouTube convention type thing. It was like a digital thing, but one of the presenters was Mr. Beast, who is obviously the king of YouTube.
Yeah.
And he just comes out and he said it so many times. Like he did Joe Rogan the other day. He's just like, yeah, this is how you do it. Like I'm telling you, like, you know, this is what you have to do.
Yep.
And he just knows like that he puts so much effort in that, yeah, you could probably try and do that, but not everyone's going to be able to replicate it. So he just gives the information away for free, I think. So
yeah, like you said, he knows that what it takes is action, and in anything it is like to get off the couch and do something. It takes that action. You have to do something. So it's like most people won't even go that far. Like if they saw a mountain bike video and they're like, "Oh, that's rad." It took me a year and a half to get off the couch and actually get a bike and go ride or something like that, right?
And one of your best friends is like
I know
one of the biggest YouTube
creators. It was Brian I was watching. I was watching every video religiously 3 days a week. You know, he was releasing 3 videos a week, and it took like something finally like, you know, I could do that. And it even somebody who's strong-willed enough to really pursue this and just sacrifice tons of stuff that you enjoy to make videos or whatever, like you put a lot of stuff aside to make the time to do what we're doing, right? So that takes a lot of action also. But like even somebody who's willing to do that, like at the time, it took me a while to get off the couch, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's like that, like you said, he gives it away for free because he knows that even though they have the answers, it's highly unlikely that people are going to follow through.
Yeah, and and really, it's the kind of like if the water rises, then it rises. You know, what's the phrase like? All ships rise when waters rise, or something like that.
I think it's like when the ship rises to the water's level, there's a mermaid in the sea.
But it's actually a manatee. It's a really long, quick phrase. That.
Yes. It took me a while to figure that out and understand it.
Yeah, the more people that come on and make really good YouTube videos, like it's probably going to benefit Mr. Beast as well at the same time. But yeah, the Joe Rogan podcast he did was really good.
And that was pretty recent, wasn't it?
Yeah. He just talked about how much he obsessed with it. Like, and if you listen to it, it kind of sounds like if it hadn't worked out, he would have been a crazy person.
That's right. I did listen to that portion because I don't listen to Joe Rogan like full podcast, but I saw that clip and it was
I don't
basically
listen to many of his.
Yeah,
a bit much.
But Mr. Beast was basically talking like he had no other option. He was telling his mom he was going to school while he was in his car editing videos outside of college. Like basically that's what it took. And he he was like, this is it. This is what, and of course his mom at the time, and they have a great relationship, he said, but he's like, of course she didn't know what it was. Like nobody knew what it was, but he just he was obsessed. And that's sometimes what it takes. You just
and then he was on Skype calls with like 4 other people from like literally first thing in the morning to the last thing at night, and then they go to sleep and then wake up and just start doing it again. And
like what he was saying is they were just analyzing trends, and they're like, okay, what if this color is different in this color versus this thumbnail? And they were literally figuring out how YouTube worked real time together.
Yeah. Which I wish like I have someone like that really. Yeah. It's kind of like, I think one of the things I really struggle with is that I really like to nerd out about things and just like throw like golf, not so much biking nowadays, like in terms of a technical perspective. Yeah. But like it's really not easy to find someone at a similar passion level to you about something, because they'll have things like you have a really nice family and a successful career. Like, do you need, like, probably don't need this in your life, do you know what I mean? But to find someone else that is like, oh, this is it, like probably Brian maybe, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. Yep. But yeah, like I've always struggled with that just in general, because I get so obsessed about things, and if I just had, I always feel like if I just had someone else at the same time, like the rate that I could improve at something would probably be really high.
I often find like when I get surrounded by people that I don't know, for example, like with kids in a family, sometimes there's family obligations like kids parties or whatever else. And these are great people, but when you talk to them and you don't have anything in common, you got to find common ground. When you say like, oh, what do you do? Like I tell them what I do for a living, right? And then I tell them some of the stuff I do on the side, but they can't relate to any of that. Like they don't, oh, you mountain bike? That's cool. Like they don't understand what that is. More importantly, like, oh, you have a YouTube channel? Like I'm already a doofus in their mind, but they don't understand like what that really means, like in terms of production and just getting hammered with smoke on a live stream. Just,
holding it together.
Dear God. But you know what I mean? So like to find that common ground. And then when you get that little inkling, I go way overboard. I tell them way more than they ever wanted to know. I'm like, let me tell you about this. Let me show them some pictures. This is my live stream setup. I get so excited to talk about it.
People love talking about what they're passionate about.
Yep.
Like whatever it can be.
Yeah.
And actually the hardest thing as humans that we don't do is really just like listen to that person and really just like, I mean, because if you were to sit here and start telling me about fishing, I'd just kind of be like, yeah, I mean, cool. And same way if I started talking to you about, I don't know, golf or whatever, you're like, yeah, nice one, good for you. But it's so hard. And I've met a couple of people that will really listen, and they're like, oh my God, and they're just great people.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, it would take a lot of growing to get to that point.
But it's interesting because you never know when, like, you talk about a subject, you never know when that may spark something in you. Like, you may find something you didn't know you liked. Like, for example, that happens quite a bit on YouTube. And we talk about YouTube a lot because we're YouTubers, and oftentimes there's a lot of people in chat that are YouTubers. But the idea that when you find a video that gets suggested to you, you're like, click on it, you're like, okay, the modern history of, or like, for example, here's one. I found this channel called Modern History. And the idea is like, he would be like, what did peasants eat in Middle Age times? I'm like, well, okay, I'm kind of curious. You click on it and they're making a meal that peasants would have eaten, like traditionally made that way. You're like, well, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that I wanted to know that. But then there's like, what did knights eat? And I'm like, oh crap, here I go.
Yeah.
And it's like, turns out,
here I go.
Yeah, you're just going down the rabbit hole. And it's like, sometimes when you end up talking to somebody, they tell you about a subject that you didn't know you liked, and you're like, dude, that was cool, and that could spark something that you're like, hey, let me go fishing with you sometime and try it. Like, I've never, like, you're not gonna go fishing with me, but you know what I mean? Like, if you tell somebody about golf that they never even thought about it, and you're like, this is, and your passion comes through, maybe they're gonna become the world-class golfer that we never are, or gonna be.
Maybe, I don't know. I just can't, it's sometimes, again, like humans, we can't fathom things that we don't directly relate to. And I think that's like a big thing.
Yeah.
And forever. It's not like a modern thing. It's literally forever.
Yeah.
Like imagine, I don't know, Einstein coming up with various like groundbreaking theories about science.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is it. And I was like, oh, you're crazy. And then he kind of was at the end, but you know, that's how it goes.
But he was pretty smart, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, your cat is just like,
oh, there she is.
Completely just gone, like, oh, look, there's a bike over here.
Oh, yeah. So you guys can't see her on camera. The cat wanders around. Oftentimes, chat will point out the cat in frame that I can't see because we're looking at each other.
Oh,
but
right.
She's bouncing around off the fence and all this stuff. Who knows what she does out here? She just hunts. She just wanders.
Oh, there you go.
So here's what a lot of people might not know about you, Paul, okay? And this is exciting to me because we spent half of the time at Sedona Mountain Bike Festival petting other people's dogs. And I didn't realize this was a fascination of yours, was just going up to strangers and grabbing their dogs. And in any other situation, this could be wildly inappropriate. But for dogs, it works.
Yeah, I think dogs are the greatest thing to have happened all the time.
I don't think you're a cat person.
Dogs are really, do you know what it is? Dogs are very predictable.
Yeah.
And I always feel unsure of what a cat is about to do.
Yeah,
a dog, you're like, oh, I know it. I'm going to probably give you a treat and you're going to do stuff. A cat, like this cat could run up to me and just start attacking me viciously.
At any moment.
Do you know? And I don't know. And I think it's kind of like spiders. I think it's spiders. Also, Unprofessional Kyle, previous guest of the show.
Yep.
He posted the story that he found a black widow. And I was in my van last night just thinking, oh crap, those things exist around here. And then I was like, there's one in my van. Now there's one in my van, isn't there?
You want to know where black widows especially like to hide? In stacks of firewood.
Great. That's so good. At least there's only 6 or 7 stacks of wood everywhere.
Yes, it's quite frequent that I come to grab a piece of wood out of one of these stacks to chop.
You ever see Arachnophobia?
Yeah. It's an amazing movie.
Terrible movie.
No, it's an incredible movie.
I saw that when I was in single digits.
Yeah.
Like, that ruined me.
Well, no wonder why you're scared of spiders.
Yeah, I hate it. Oh my God.
I saw that when I was young too. I watched it again mildly. Like, what would you say recently?
Is there a spider in here? Like,
no, they don't crawl in while you're drinking. I've discovered this at least. Okay. After my aunt died, I figured it out that all you had to do was just drink every 2 minutes or so.
What do you mean after your aunt died?
From a black widow bite.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. I'm not drinking this anymore.
Time to open a fresh one, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, people are asking about O'Doul's. I saw that in the
okay, let's tell them about our rompous evening last night. It was like basically we were the talk of the town, I think, is what happened. So how did the night start, Paul, once we left this house?
We went to this cake diner.
Yep.
That's how you would call it.
Yep.
And I was like, this is fantastic. I was overwhelmed by choice, but in the end I went for a hazelnut cheesecake.
Yep.
I'd probably give it 6.8 out of 10.
Which is basically expected. It's kind of like an old diner. The ambiance and it's kind of like, again, you don't have to go in there wearing a suit. You come in there wearing, it's like.
What cake diners are you going to that you need to wear a suit?
Look, these days it's all hipstery dessert places. So you're going to go in and get some fancy, it's going to be finished off with gold flakes and whatnot. Like, how many dessert diners do you have that are just kind of like old school, show up?
None. I live in a town of 20,000 people.
What do they do? Just eat ice cream there?
Yeah, we have a fantastic ice cream place actually called Alice and Brome. They've just said that it's the time of the year where they make mini egg ice cream.
Wait, mini egg ice cream?
Yeah. So it's ice cream with mini eggs in it. I don't know how else to put it.
Wait a minute, not Cadbury mini eggs, like actual mini eggs? Like
Cadbury's mini
herrings?
Eggs, obviously.
I don't know what we're talking about.
You think they put actual eggs into ice cream?
Look, they put eggs into everything now. They put eggs on pizza. They put eggs in burgers. Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
Hold on. Egg on a pizza. Best thing that the French have ever come out. I'm pretty sure that's French. It's probably Italian. Someone's going to roast me.
Yeah.
Cancelled for being anti-Europe.
It's fine. We're not live. Nobody's going to call us on this stuff. It's all edited out in post.
Yeah. Have you ever had an egg on a pizza?
I have had an egg on a pizza, and it's delicious.
It's incredible.
But I mean, like, it's not, like, if you're saying it's preposterous to assume that there'd be an egg on ice cream, at this point, we put eggs on everything.
The mini eggs, like, it's chocolate. Okay, we're diving
because I was thinking of like a small bird's egg, and I thought that was a Canadian thing.
Like a quail egg?
Yeah, like a quail egg. I thought that's what they do in Canada.
Do they? They do have quails in Canada. Okay, no. The chocolate mini eggs.
Okay, got it. All right, now I'm glad that we made that
Anyway,
clear.
the evening, okay. Yeah. And then we went to find out that actually everyone's PlayStation 1 games are now worth $900.
This is true, yeah. This is true.
Listen to this. Wait, what camera are you on?
You're on the third one.
Listen to this, okay? We saw a brand new, never removed from box, whatever the Simpsons line is, NRFB, Silent Hill, PlayStation 1 CD-ROM. It was $110 US.
Coming to this camera now, go.
$110 US. That's how much this was. And the guy was just walking us around like, oh, look at this. This is how much. N64 games.
Yeah.
$45.
I know.
I sold mine for like, I don't know, £10 or something.
Well, Paul doesn't understand, and I was trying to explain to the guy who was working at the shop, but this guy knew nothing about video games. How do you work at a video game store?
How did you know he knew nothing?
Because as soon as I said like, oh, like now that they're grading games, and he just had a glazed look. You know how when you tell somebody something and they have a glazed look, they don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So if you guys aren't familiar with this in chat, basically now grading video games is a thing. Say you have a Mario 1 from the original NES and you have it as a sealed copy. You can send that in to get graded. They'll seal it in a custom box, they'll give it a grade, and now it's
like
worth
comic books.
Yeah, just like comic books. And now it's worth exponentially more.
Yeah.
So I've actually interviewed that guy who runs that company. His name's Dennis.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was talking to the guy at the shop about it, and he just glazed over. I'm like, this guy doesn't know nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't know nothing.
He
doesn't know nothing, then he would know something.
It's a great point you come up with, Paul.
Yeah, you've double negative yourself back into a corner there.
Yeah, are you positive?
I'm not just, no, don't bait me. Don't bait me. I'm not just positive. You know the line.
So we went to this video game store, which is called 1UP. Okay, I was searching on my map for 1UP, and I was like, there's this great bar called 1UP where you can play video games and drink.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's a bar in Denver. I was thinking of a different bar. Anyways, the bottom line
is,
the
shop
was called 1UP.
And the guy's like, you're in it right now, and it's like classic circumstance that it's only funny if you were there, really.
Just a bunch of dirty looks, just all across the board. He's like, what are you talking about? And then, of course, I'm like, Coin Up. He's like, oh, I know that place. I'm like, then why don't you, I said, like a bar where you can play video games.
Oh my God, do you know one of my biggest frustrations in life is like, where someone can totally just figure out the solution to your problem, but they just repeat the problem. Like, it happens so often, and I'm just like pulling my face skin off. And that was a perfect example. We're looking for a bar that you can play video games. Guy's like, no idea. And then he's like, oh, is it called Coin Up? It's like, oh yeah. And he was just so matter of fact, like, oh yeah, Coin Up, that's down on the end of the street. Like what do you think we were trying to look for?
There is no other place in town that you can play video games and drink other than Coin Up.
It is a very unique offering. Like there are not more than one option for that.
Welcome to the workforce. And then you asked him like, hey, do you own this shop? He's like, no, I'm new. And that all made sense.
Oh my God. But why was what business owner is putting this guy in charge, leaving him?
Oh my God.
Oh well. Anyway, we went there.
I think the choices are not strong in the workforce these days.
We went there. Someone tried to chat up Joe by asking if the quarter machines took quarters. That's pretty much what the question was,
Yes,
wasn't it?
it very much was.
And we were like, no, thank you. We have a crisis of time on our hands,
yes.
and there's 2 of us. So obviously we went and played Jurassic Park. I'm sure everyone got what I was going to talk about there.
So there's an arcade bar, and we go inside of there, and they serve beer, they serve cocktails. You jump in, and then you've got we jumped right into Time Crisis 2, which one of the best shooters in the business, because you have a foot control to control, and you got to come up and down. If you guys have played Time Crisis, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey,
Anyways,
someone's just said Penny Arcade in downtown Sacramento is the best.
Oh, there's a Penny Arcade? I didn't know that.
Wow, maybe this. I mean, screw that guy.
Shut up, Byron. You live in Idaho or something now. You don't know what you're talking about. Uh-oh.
Why do they keep saying breakfast pizza?
Why are we talking about breakfast pizza? It's a barcade. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a barcade. ... That's a perfect word for it.
Yeah. Anyway, we went in there. We played various games.
Yep.
Joe was very good at video games, far better than I. I would invest a lot more money in Time Crisis, and then I would invest Joe's money into Time Crisis 2, and we didn't even complete it.
Paul would die, and I'd be like, Paul, get back in here. Plus,
I was like, I can't on moral grounds give this thing more money. I'm not getting a good rate of return here on enjoyment. But then you had an insane pinball, which I believe was about 45 minutes on one pinball.
Probably at least 45 minutes of one ball, for sure. No questions asked. Absolutely. No embellishment, certainly. But it was the greatest pinball run I've ever had. And, I had a crowd gather around. A crowd started gathering around as we played this pinball. It was pretty intense. And really, after signing autographs, we decided to leave and come back home. And it was a pretty great night, because we had an early day of golf. So that's how we played our game.
Yeah, but we had 2 beers. And I woke up today feeling like I'd had 15. And that's why I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer, because I like the taste of beer, but I don't actually like the alcohol bit, you know?
And that's how you tell a 20-minute story to get to one question in chat, which is why he's drinking O'Doul's. Now you guys have the answer.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, see, you notice how he didn't have the logo towards the camera? Absolutely brilliant. Unlike unprofessional Kyle, who when he came on my stream, he was just showing logos all over the place. And I'm like, Kyle, are they paying me? Get it out of here.
He's just giving away free marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
Not how it worked, Carl.
Exactly. Speaking of which, I brought some very tasty seagrass that we may try this evening.
Yeah.
There you go.
We've got a whole smorgasbord of Paul's first-time activities, really.
Oh, man, it's so much.
We've got this. I've sat around a fire before, but also the s'mores component.
Yep.
Very excited about that.
Is it actually true that was your first time playing pinball last night for the first time ever?
No. Well, because actually I remembered that Addams Family one.
Yeah.
Some friends of my mum had that exact pinball machine. But I mean, it's the first time paying for pinball. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
All right, Charlie Hicks. Whoa, baby. Thank you for the $20 donation, Charlie. I appreciate it. And Spokesman, I forgot to point out your $20 donation earlier, man. I apologize. He's probably long gone now, but I'll make it up to him. I'll send him a text. He says, hey, Joe, ask Paul about a Whistler trip with Bobo and a pineapple tattoo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to do something cool when I got a sponsored video. That was the first competitive cyclist video. So I worked with Bobo's wife, Ali, and told her I'm going to fly him out. What's he doing next week? And she said nothing. And she was
Nothing.
She was a bit nervous because Bobo's he's nervous about flying.
Yeah.
And also he's not very. I guess he's not maybe the best of last minute plans.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way of putting it. But I called him up and said, okay. And I booked the ticket, and then Expedia sent him a text or something saying about the flight.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, crap. And I said, oh, that must be about something else. Anyway, I called him up, and then I said on the video, I was like, hey, in 3 days' time, you got a plane ticket, and you're coming to Whistler. So he came to Whistler. We had a great time. He landed, and it was just 2 YouTube guys making videos the whole week. It was so much fun.
2 YouTube guys making videos on a Whistler.
That is. Oh, no.
Yes, the tables have turned.
Oh, my God, how the turntables have turned.
By the way, the story,
second PTUSA
the story I think I heard from Bobo's perspective was there was some mighty partying happening.
Oh, my God. We wrapped up the filming in Whistler and thought that it was going to rain the next day.
Yeah.
So I allowed us some, get loose time.
Yeah.
But we, that guy, he can out-party a lot of people.
Yeah.
And he out-partied me.
I have a feeling he still can.
Yeah, I think someone tried to get in a fight with him because they said he wasn't American, and then I just apparently showed up out of nowhere and said, "Run away!" we ran away like a couple of Monty Python sketches back to the hotel. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, "Ha, we got away with it." Yeah. Anyway, but then I woke up the next day and I was just like, "God, I hate feeling like this." And I was like, "Now we can't do anything. We could go and ride." I was like, "We could go and ride."
Back when Paul was excited about riding, something we'll talk about very shortly.
Yeah, we could go riding. And then he's like, I'm okay. I was like, no, bro. And then I gave up drinking for 4 months after that.
Yeah.
And the next time I had a beer was when we were at his house and he had the accident.
That's right.
Yeah, he had the accident. And then I was like, okay, I'll have a beer with you now because, like, yeah.
Didn't he have 2 accidents? He had the one at Seth's house, didn't he? And then there was another one.
I feel like that wasn't as serious as the one because he had a stage 4 separated shoulder. His shoulder had moved out 16 mil. Oh. It would have been better if he'd broken his collarbone, put it that way, but it didn't. And I didn't even know separations went past 3, but there was a 4 and a 5 situation. Yeah. So we did that. But then the whole time on both those trips, we were like, let's get matching tattoos. Yeah. And we were like, okay, what are we going to do? We even went to a tattoo place in Whistler, but we just never actually figured it out. And then when I came down and he picked me up and we were in Charlotte, he took me to Hooters. And I will never go to Hooters ever again.
Best wings in the business. Actually, Robert might disagree with that. He's got other favorite wing spots, but yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I did not enjoy that experience. I felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then tattoos came straight back up, and he's like, hey, I've thought about it, and we should get pineapples because if you look up, am I on this camera?
Yep.
If you look up pineapple tattoo meaning, okay, because I was a little bit worried that it was something to do with swingers, because it's like a thing.
I would simply assume that it means you do like pineapple on pizza.
No. Well, actually, no, I changed my mind about that. I did have a pineapple on pizza. I was
delicious.
Like,
it's delicious. Chat, don't even argue. It's delicious.
So, and then if you look at it, it's like, oh, it's a symbol of friendship, and it's like welcoming, okay? So then Bobo obviously quadruspasmed himself, and I'm at a party. For those super nerdy about YouTube videos, Seth did a video about a folding ramp.
Okay.
Yeah, and he like brought it to the place, and we rode it, and then we had a bonfire there afterwards. And I was just stood next to this guy Rob, and I turned around to my left, and I was like, "Oh, hey man, like, what do you do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm a tattoo artist."
Oh God, wow.
And I thought, well, that's meant to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went and got it. Almost fainted many times, and then showed up at Bobo's house, and I was like, yeah, check this out. And then I think in the video he's like, is that real? And I'm like, and Bobo's just like, he's on so many drugs, painkillers, and he's just like, and then he went and got the same thing, and it's my only tattoo, and me and Bobo have it.
You are a lucky dog, because had he decided to go back on his word, you could have just had your own pineapple.
There was, like, every time I look at it, I'm like, I love this tattoo.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like, I'm non-stop happy about it. So, I have no regrets. And I knew there was no way he wouldn't go and get it. So
that brings more context to last night when we saw walk past a tattoo parlor. And like, you want to get matching tattoos?
Yeah.
Now it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
I think you would have committed to it. I'm glad I didn't agree.
I would have. All I needed was for you to give me a sniff. And then I'm like, yep, I'm in. I'm very easy to, like, go along with something. Yeah. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But like, you know, if someone's like, oh, should we go and do this? I'm like, yeah. Like just the other day, I went and played Torrey Pines from like, I was up at like 5:15, played Torrey Pines in the morning, and the guys I was playing with, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to go to this other course and play another 18 holes in the afternoon. And I was like, huh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that as well. And just, I just went and did it.
Yep. Yeah. But like oftentimes you don't have great adventures without saying yes, man. If you say no to everything, you're never going to end up in these weird situations where you have the best time in the world you never knew you were going to have, you know? Yeah. So it's like,
I think it's time that someone can bring that around again. I think enough time has passed from the Yes Man movie and the initial. Like actually, I had some friends at university that did the kind of yes man thing. And they ended up in Tenerife. Like,
where the hell is Tenerife?
Oh, it's like the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay,
Yeah, we're in the UK. And literally they were like, I saw them in the bar the night before, and then everyone woke up the next morning, there were rumors going around that like all of them had just gone to Tenerife. And then I texted them on and I was like, oh, are you going to come downstairs or whatever? He's like, I'm in Tenerife. I'm like, no, you're not. And they were. and they made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
And it took them ages to get home. But yeah.
It's funny you bring up playing at Torrey Pines, because when we were at the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, one of your primary goals was to find somebody that lived in San Diego so that you could get into Torrey Pines at a cheaper rate. Did that person actually get you in?
Kevin Reed let me down.
Oh.
Turns out he said that he knew someone in the pro shop, but and then he messaged me after I'd played it and actually left San Diego, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like I don't know person in the end." I was like, "Oh, okay." Oh.
I don't think people understand the extent of how far this went as we were walking around the Sedona Mountain Bike Fest. We literally had one guy ask us to sign his bike, and then there was another group, these two ladies who were
That
like...
was ridiculous, by the way.
I know.
I cannot believe... And it was a Sharpie. Like, I cannot believe... It's a really expensive bike.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, sign it. I was like, I have the writing of a 2-year-old.
I know you do.
2-year-olds can't write.
I have video covering this whole process.
Oh, man. I felt so bad. But he would not... Yeah, he would not take no for an answer.
But then we had these two women come up and they said, oh, our boyfriends were kind of shy to come talk to you guys. So they came up and they asked us for, I think, just pictures with them. And then you're like, where are you from? They're like, San Diego. And you're like, wait a minute, here's my information. Can you get me into Torrey Pines?
Yeah, no one could. Yeah. No one could. But I don't care. It was great. I had such a good day.
No one follows through sometimes. Sometimes, again, if they were all yes people, they'd be like, yeah, let's make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, that's how it goes, isn't it?
What are you going to do? Robert brought up a good point in chat also. He said, if you guys haven't watched the King of Kong documentary, which is something we talked about today, it was brilliant. You know, it's like the idea of like just trying to reach the highest score. And I think there was scandal with that guy who was trying to reach the highest score in King Kong, right? Or Donkey Kong.
No, there's Steve Weeb did it, but it's the other guy, Billy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Anyway,
not Billy Zane, because he's an angel.
Not Billy Zane, no, just this other guy, Billy. But that guy, Billy, the guy that always wears the tie in the documentary, he's actually been completely scrubbed out of all the records. Did you know about this? Is very recent.
Very recent.
There was like a lawsuit against him and everything, and he's just been completely like shunned from the whole community of record breaking, I think. But someone probably know about it. But oh look, Rynder, of course I know someone at Torrey Pines. No, too late, mate. Too late
now.
Too late.
Paul's on his return journey to the Grand North, or what do you call it, like the frozen north, or the tundra? It's like a tundra.
The tundra?
Yeah.
No, it's like a pretty nice place to live. It's not like a white bleak with Arctic foxes running around like in Star Wars Episode 5.
Which one's that? The Hoth one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah, that's Episode 5, yeah.
Somebody's going to lose their shit if we can't figure out that title. I'm glad I figured that out.
That was borderline getting cancelled right there.
Yes. It's been a while. Star Wars is a whole nother journey that we have to discuss. Paul is self-professed not super into whiskey, so I have brought out a whiskey for him to try tonight.
Let's go.
And we're going to pour it. It's Seagrass. It's Barrel, a company called Barrel, the Seagrass. So it's a rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. Madeira.
There's an island just off Portugal called Madeira. They've lots of mountain biking. Okay, so, what am I looking for?
So what I would say here is this particular whiskey is about 60% alcohol by volume. So it's a high proof. So oftentimes what that means is...
We're getting tattoos, that's what this means.
If we're getting tattoos. It's going to hit you pretty hard. It's probably going to be... I haven't tried this.
If we were going to get tattoos, what would the tattoos be?
I mean, I would get a tattoo of your face on me.
No, you can't. No. That's too far. Like, no, you can't have that.
I don't know. I've never found something that I like so much that I needed it on me all the time. I feel like I could always just get a t-shirt.
Have you not got any tattoos?
I don't got any tattoos. And I'm not against tattoos in any way. Like, I think tattoos are rad.
But you need to, it's the finding the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest bit.
Because if I would have got a tattoo at the age where I thought, like, oh man, tattoo, like I would have a Ninja Turtle on me somewhere for sure. And I'd probably have a Power Ranger or something on me. And now I would not feel great about that.
You can't have that. Because I knew a bunch of people that had like Transformers tattoos.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, no.
Yeah, and then all it takes is one bad movie and it's not, like, for example, here's a great example, all right?
One bad movie.
Game of Thrones. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I did not.
Okay, you don't have to.
I watched the first 4 and I was like, oh, this is great. But then for some reason I didn't watch it.
It doesn't matter. The point is, like, there's, what's her name? The lady who plays Khaleesi or whatever. So anyways, she ends up, in the seasons 8 and 9 or whatever it is, it's just the worst ending to a show you could possibly imagine. Yeah. And so the show ends poorly, but not after many people had named their children after her.
No.
Like, so all of these people were naming their kids, forget her name. Somebody in chat can correct me here, but a bunch of people were naming their kids this, and then the last 2 seasons of the show just completely trashed her and made the whole show just awful. And so that's what we talk about. We talk about a tattoo is the same idea of like giving your kid a terrible name.
Yeah, it's kind of like the guy that bought, was it the Tom Brady's last ball? Was it like $500,000?
Yeah.
And then he's like 3 weeks later, like, actually, nah, I'll come back.
So how do you qualify that now? It's like Tom Brady's second to last ball?
I mean, in some ways, it's like the meme ball, isn't it? So maybe it's going to actually add to its value. Like, oh, this was the ball that someone paid $500,000 for.
Maybe if he was smart, he would take a picture of it and sell it as an NFT, and then he would make even more money.
Was it an NFT, maybe?
No, it was an actual football.
It was the actual ball. Okay.
It was an actual football.
Well, we can do it.
So things to know about this whiskey. Oftentimes when you're smelling whiskey, it's going to be hard with the smoke involved, but you want to just keep your mouth open.
Keep my mouth open?
Keep your mouth open.
Why?
That's just part of the thing. It opens up the airways. You get a better sense of the flavor profile.
But no, if it goes down your nose like that, your mouth is blocked off.
It comes back in through. Yeah, it's like it's complicated, but you got to keep like a slight open mouth.
A slightly open mouth or a gormless open?
Oh, I can smell the pear. Yeah.
Like a gormless open mouth.
Yeah.
So like like that kind of thing or
no,
not?
just like slightly.
Yeah.
You know, and then you don't want to put your tongue you don't want to put your nose
really
all the way in.
It's actually really hard to sniff with your mouth open.
I know.
Like,
and so then you just slightly outside, and can you smell the fruit? Anyways, we're not going to get too douchey with the whiskey. The bottom line is, if it's too high proof, we have water to cut it. So that's like not a bad thing at all. Oftentimes, people will pour a little bit of water or a little bit of ice with their whiskey. There's no wrong way to drink whiskey. If you're probably never going to drink a lot. But the bottom line is, you can give it a go.
It just smells like whiskey, just not smoky whiskey.
That is very good. Not bad.
It's not bad. It really envelops the whole mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like if you imagine like a chip pan fire.
Yeah.
How the fire goes all around the room. That's kind of what happens.
Now, oftentimes what they say with whiskey is you get your first palate cleanse, essentially. You put a little bit in the mouth, and it starts to, your mouth gets acclimated to it a bit. So then the second drink will often taste slightly different as your mouth becomes a little bit more used to it. But like, again, at the end of the day, we're just sipping a little bit here. We're not going crazy.
Okay.
Like that. A little bit less harsh.
Yeah, I can tell it's a little bit different.
So oftentimes a little less harsh.
It's clearing out my nose.
Your mouth starts to get a little bit more accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And then you can also dab a little water, and that will change the flavor profile of whiskey too. So
I'm fine with this.
So that's good. There you go. We've got Paul drinking seagrass.
If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be a purist about it.
And you don't have to. Again, like some people get a little too uppity with a lot of things. Like they do that in bikes, they do that in golf.
Who would do that?
They do that in whiskey.
I don't know anyone that would do that.
But like the bottom line is like if you when we go to whiskey tastings, it's like you just kind of drink it however you enjoy it the most. Just like anything else. Like ride bikes the way you like to ride bikes. Go play golf the way you like to play golf. Whatever. Like so many people tell people what they should do, and it's like that's not really the best
However,
answer.
I do feel that there's not enough people in the world that are doing mountain biking properly.
In which
when
sense?
I say properly, I mean as safe as they could do.
Like in terms of like, for example, in Sedona, when people are just riding stuff that's way above their pay grade.
I had a full panic attack, and that's not an exaggeration. I had like full anxiety, and I basically had to just run away, and I just ran down the rest of Highline because I thought someone was going to get paralyzed.
And that was when you guys were the kind of early on ride. It was just people were just doing stuff they shouldn't be doing and just out of control, or what?
It's like the people doing that, and then people were encouraging that kind of behavior, and no one was kind of thinking, oh crap, if someone has like a huge accident here, like what's going to happen? Like what do we do? Like just like today, I said to you, like if my car breaks down on the highway, like I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. And then you were like, oh yeah, I wouldn't know what to do either.
That's something I don't think of. You're totally right. And I was like, well, I guess eventually I'd figure out how to call a tow truck, but yeah, totally.
It's like, I think that's the same thing. Like if you're up there, you need a helicopter to come in. And like, do you have $25,000 for the helicopter ride? Which I think that's what they charge or something like that. So I just think that's it. It's like, mountain biking seems to be a sport that people just like grab one and then go and do it. Like I've talked about this a lot with like Giant and things like that. People are spending like 5 figures on e-bikes, and then they're just going out and they have no idea what they're doing. And I think mountain biking is such a dangerous sport. Like I know people that have lost the use of limbs and died, and it's kind of it's almost like you only have that viewpoint when it happens to you.
Yeah.
When you have a big accident or someone really hurts themselves, like I remember back when I was part of the, hung around with some dirt jumping friends.
Yeah.
And, like I dug at jumps and things like that. I didn't ride them. I was too scared. Like I'll be honest. But I enjoyed the process of like digging at everything. And there was like this trail group that they always wore full face helmets when they were dirt jumping because a friend of theirs ripped off an ear.
Oh God.
Yeah, like they just wore a normal piss pot helmet. I don't know what you would call it. Probably a piss pot helmet. You know what I mean? Like like a skate helmet.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like that rounded helmet that's essentially there. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they used to wear that, but then someone ripped their ear off, and then everyone else in the crew switched to running full face helmets, so that didn't happen again.
And I'm sure people will see them wearing a full face helmet and be
Yeah,
like, look at this pussy's riding a fair full face. But
Yeah.
you realize like there is no detriment to really wearing a full face these days, especially when they're as light as can be. And oftentimes that's the best GoPro mounting position anyway, so forget about it. We know how that works. Yes, 100% true. I think it's interesting because we talk about, I'm just getting pounded by smoke, by the way, but I'm taking
You are getting nailed.
Just absolutely nailed. But like when we were in Sedona, like Highline, when I rode it for the first time in November, that was the first time I ever rode it. I was much more hesitant, and often like coming in, you need a little, my riding ability was good enough to ride, but what I lacked was the confidence. So like going in, riding a new trail, so I walked a bunch of stuff. Nobody ever peer pressured me, which is nice. But then I walked a bunch of stuff, and I was really glad that when I went back this time, I was able to tackle a lot of the stuff that I walked, and it was because I knew my riding ability was there, and this time I came in with a little bit better confidence, and I cleaned everything, and I felt in control the whole time, and it was like really nice. Yeah. And prior to us going down the chute, which is in Highline, if you guys have ridden Highline, there's that section called the chute, there was some dude that had just gone down, and you could tell that entire group like wasn't very great at biking, like they walked that whole section all the way from chute all the way down, all the way, and it's just like, what are you doing here?
I just feel like people, especially mountain biking, they will go and try that. Like when I worked at the bike park in Queenstown, I remember there were these guys, punters, as we called them.
I didn't understand the term punter until you released that video. Punter's essentially like a newbie, right?
Yeah, it's just like a guy that goes and rents a bike for the day and puts sunglasses on.
Yeah.
But then I remember like back then, like really, they're trying it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that should rather than be kind of ripped upon, it should be congratulated in some way. But these guys, they didn't know what they were doing, and every lap they came down, they were like, oh, we're going to try a more difficult trail. At the beginning, you're kind of like, oh, hell yeah. And then they said, oh, we're going to go and look down World Cup now. And World Cup is where I filmed Loic Bruni on that trail before, and he's obviously world champion. That's where he trains. And these guys, they just started mountain biking for the first time, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took them a while to come down, and we had to send. I was like, we got to send a sweep down there to figure out what's happening, just in case someone really hurts themselves. Speaking of really hurting themselves, you are getting so much smoke in your eye, and I bet it can't come out on camera because it's so faint, but it's right there.
It's just absolutely brutal, but it's great because I can rub my eyes when the camera's on.
What if you had like a fan over here under camera blowing the smoke? Would that work?
It's been recommended, but it's just I just throw caution to the wind. You know what I mean, Paul? We have another Paul in chat, by the way. my buddy Paul Shin is in here. I found out recently that Paul Shin has a Model A YouTube channel, and it's fascinating because he was
Model
an engineer.
A?
Like the Ford Model A. He's got a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And like this is an engineer that I used to work with, brilliant engineer.
Isn't it Model T?
No, they make a bunch of different ones. Model A, I think, is the earliest one of the earlier ones. He would know, and he'll probably comment and let me know. But I found out recently, because we used to work together, brilliant engineer, and we started talking because he might work in the market again. I was like, yeah, anything you need, let me know. But then I found out he had a YouTube channel. He found out I had one, and I started watching his stuff, and he started watching my stuff, and it's like fascinating because we talked about earlier the idea that once you find a subject and you find somebody that's passionate about the same thing, you guys just start. So we're texting back and forth like, oh, did you do this? Did you do this? And like, of course, like once you find that somebody's into the same thing, it's like so cool to like talk to people about that, right? You get passionate about the things you want to talk about.
Yeah. Like PT USA.
No, we're not. No. We're not going into golf yet. We'll lose all our viewers.
No, we're not talking about. I'm saying PT USA. I didn't say golf
PT.
at all.
Yeah. PT's amazing.
PT USA, or PT, is a guy on TikTok that is my comedy idol, as far as I'm concerned. And I found this guy. Do you know? I was just outside Las Vegas, on this parking spot that took me forever to get to and was terrible, and I was harassed by donkeys the whole night.
What do you mean harassed by donkeys? Like wild donkeys?
Yeah, there were donkeys outside, and then I opened my door because I was like, I swear I just heard a donkey, and I got the light, and sure enough, over in the distance, there was like a gaggle of donkeys.
A gaggle of donkeys. Now, the question is, did they escape? You were in Vegas, right? Did they escape from some random donkey show?
I don't know. I was the Hoover Dam. That's how far outside of Vegas I was. Basically Boulder, like outside of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was, I had nothing else going on. I just needed to sleep, and I was just cruising TikTok, and then this video comes up by a creator called Peter USA, and it was the funniest thing I'd seen, to the point where I was crying laughing, and I knew there was only there were two people that would find this as funny, and Joe was one of them. And now every time this guy has a new video, I just send Joe an out of context text message, and he will figure out that. But yeah, there must be a new PT video. But
so if you guys haven't seen PT's video, just DM me on Instagram, and I'll send you a link to. And you're gonna go down a rabbit hole of sheer hilarity, but it's something that we share, you and I.
Just so good. Like, and we can't even quote it because it would be doing it a disservice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. This is 100% true. This is a good opportunity to catch up on chat because there's a bunch of stuff in here, and you can see it too.
Can I have a pee break?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, mute me.
No, you have to mute yourself.
Oh, I'll turn it off.
Power it off.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys might get the rare opportunity where, unlike Aaron, he forgot to turn off the mic, and you got to hear him peeing real time. This is a good opportunity to catch up on chat. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us for this fireside chat. Look, we went golfing this morning all day, and I'll be completely honest with you. I get disinterested very quickly in golf. I make it about 8 holes, and then after that, I just check out. Like it's enough for me. We're just standing around, and Paul's really into it. In fact, Jay, who is a golfing professional, and I think he's here. Yeah, Bike Sum's in here. He's a golf professional. Also, like he still plays great, but man, I check out very quickly, and then there's just no engagement. I start shanking balls, and I just kind of whatever. So there it is. Okay, here we go. I'm just getting sandblasted. Paul, did you hear me? There's nobody in there. Oh, there's one in our bedroom. You just got to go that way. Okay, there you go. Yes. Yep. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to say this, Joe, even if they walked 100 yards, the rest could have been good for them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, just because they have to walk those really hard features, the rest of the trail is also fun. And just like I did when I had to walk them, those features in Highline, now I knew what to expect next time I rode it. So there's a good point, and that is true. I don't want to sound elitist, but it was definitely dangerous when one of their buddies injured themselves, and then the rest of them were coming down. Oh, baby, Paul Shin's coming up. Yeah, we'll do lunch. As you can hear, my voice is getting nasally as I inhale more and more smoke tonight. Oftentimes the wind works in my favor, but that's not what's happening tonight, is it? No, not at all. Jay's in here. War within MTB. Good to see you, buddy. Somebody just broke their leg on South Mountain today, got a free helicopter ride. Like, you have to take into consideration that, like, a helicopter ride can't be cheap, right? Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's the name of the game. Like, protect yourself. Now, I made the foolish decision to ride down Highline with no knee pads. I realized after the fact I did this, but you guys all know it's a gnarly enough trail. One of the things I appreciate about Arizona riding is that Arizona riding is pretty gnarly, and it's a lot chunkier than what we're used to in Northern California. In Northern California, we see a lot of flow trails and things like that. What we don't see is a lot of technical chunk like you see in Arizona. And South Mountain is a technical powerhouse. It's a lot of like uphill, like I always describe Arizona riding as uphill is both ways, right? But it's this technical riding downhill and up. So even when you're on the climbs, you're much more engaged in the climb here, where with a climb here, it's kind of like, hey, you work your way up to elevation. But there, it's like you're constantly engaged because you like power up a rock, back up, power up another rock, and you're constantly moving and shaking. You know what I mean? Hi, Paul.
Okay. Hilarious. Someone left a tap on.
Oh, there you go. That'll happen. Paul's back, everybody. Here he comes.
Okay, I should be plugged in again.
Good. One of those days, I'll just install a porta potty out here. Or I guess we have enough trees that it works.
Maybe. Maybe. This whiskey's lovely. It's very tasty.
Very good. So let me know if you need more. It's all yours. We got a lot of good stuff here.
What's been happening?
Trail Feature says, no shame in walking a feature if you're just not feeling it. Exactly right. I think what like Paul alludes to is the idea that like when people say, you got this, you could do it, like, and then maybe
you don't.
Obviously can't. Like,
yeah, maybe you don't.
But there's no shame in walking it, because that's, again, what I did on my first venture to Highline. I walked it, and then I knew what to expect the next time I went out there. Like, or like, You understand it. And eventually, when I walked some of those features the first time, I was like, well, I could have done that. Like, once I had seen what it really, the shoot and stuff, I was like, I'm not going to hike back up there like a dummy and ride it. But I'm glad this time I was able to kind of get that redemption. Like, I felt good, like, coming down that and being like, all right, I know I'm capable of doing this.
Yeah.
Which people don't realize I actually kind of somewhat know how to ride a bike, which is
you're great at riding. You're great at riding.
Josh didn't expect that either. When we rode last time in Sedona, Josh from Daily MTB Rider, he was like, you actually know how to ride a bike? I'm like, yeah, believe it or not.
Josh is the classic, he's a bigger chap.
Yeah.
And he is so fit. It's like alarming. When we did that EWS 100 at Whistler, he just finished it and it looked like he was fresh as a daisy.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. But, that's it.
Oh, baby. Here comes Robert. He's donated $20. Says, how much do I have to super chat for Paul to ride with me?
I only ride e-bikes now.
Yeah, let's figure something out tomorrow. We've got some open plans on Sunday, I think. We've got some things in lock, but shoot me a message. Shoot us a message.
I haven't messaged anyone.
I know.
I wanted to come and hang out with you. Yep. You know what I mean? It's more about if I did that, we go in the Brian situation where everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you didn't message me when you came through so and so, and it's just I'm very much a quiet kind of running under the radar situation right now.
Well, oftentimes for me, when it comes to this, it's like, I have to get through the live stream. And then once we've gotten through it and survived, then it's like things open up a little bit, which is probably what's going to happen tomorrow, essentially.
And Joe's helped me so much with my own audio stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's, and I think you're so funny and so underrated. And I have said this before, and damn it, I'll say it again. If you were around 6 years ago, starting YouTube, you would be cruising at 1 million subscribers. That's the thing. But it's so hard nowadays to kind of break through when you're one of many people doing a similar thing. Do you know what I mean? It's harder to get that positive feedback loop and motivation.
It's very hard. You have to have the consistency, and you've got one of the things that I was saying, I think on the last live stream, is how I feel like I'm rewarded on Instagram versus on YouTube. And YouTube's a lot more involved, a lot more planning, right? Thumbnails are important, titles are important. When you do stuff on TikTok and everything else, none of that stuff matters. You can make a cool piece of thing.
It still has things that are just as important. Yeah. It's just, it's if you have a grasp of being funny, which you do. Yeah. Think about other people probably don't have that same grasp of how to be funny. Yeah. And this is easy to you. If I showed you me editing a video, I would do it so fast and you would be like, huh? Yeah. And but to me, I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's kind of like when you go and ask a racer, oh, how do you go around a corner at 1 million miles an hour? Yeah. They're just like, oh, I just do, because that's their perception of it. And it's kind of like on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The question's only easy if you know the answer. Yeah. I think that's a big rule of life.
But the interesting thing about that too is it's not a skill that you always inherently have. It's an earned skill. For example, learning how to video edit isn't something, the only way you can learn how to do that is to do it. You can obviously take classes and stuff like that. But you look at my first video versus my last video, it's of course, and Robert, that's something that Robert always said to me. He's like, when I make a video, he's like, oh, you're going to think it's great. And then 6 months from now, you're going to look at it and you go, man, that was, there's terrible. Always progress to be made, right?
And honestly, the more you do it, that process is a lot closer. Yeah. I will literally publish a video and then 2 days later be like, that is terrible. Yeah. Awful. But that's just how, it's a creative, thing.
But I've often said, when I first got into this YouTube thing, I was inspired to do it because I saw other people doing it. And I was like, man, I could do that. And what held me up most, and I've told the story before, was I was like, there's so many people doing it. Why would I stand out? And I'm glad I did it, because that's what held me up for the longest time, because there's so many people doing the same thing. It's but again, you realize that everybody has their own voice and their own style. And as a result, if you really cater to that, you can really start to make things that are different than other people's, because it's the way that you think is cool or funny or whatever else. So no matter what, you can differentiate yourself. And had I not started with the basic stuff and then slowly evolved over time, it's interesting. And again, one of the things I remember you'd mentioned on one of the podcasts, we talked about this before, is you brought it up, you're like, man, that guy would have been huge a while ago, now, and whatever, and you also mentioned the idea that POV videos aren't as popular now because they're so saturated.
Again, it's not that POV is the problem, because look at Eric.
Yeah.
Like, his videos are doing bananas every time, right?
Yep.
Like, that's not the problem. It's just that his videos have raised the standard of what people expect and what they like. It's not like Brian can just go out and punch 3 videos a week and everyone's going to watch and everyone's going to be like, oh, this is so easy. This guy is just putting a camera on him and going on. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that easy. Like, there are various nuances, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
But it's just those nuances have changed. Like, that's it. I really think, like, if it wasn't for the pandemic starting, Brian would have had even more success with his 50 state.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it was when it started, I was there. I could tell you the format. Like, he'll starts off the same way, and he's like, I'm in this state, and then it would say like the Florida state, it's the Sunshine State. Then he would find a fact about a local area. Then he would go and ride a difficult trail, and then he would find somewhere to eat, and then he would review and it was just like, it's like Trivial, it's like Seth always used to say, not Trivial Pursuit, Family Fortune, no, Wheel of Fortune.
That was a lot of games you just named off.
I know, I was going to go Family Fortunes, and I was like, no, it's Wheel of Fortune. But like, that's been the same show for 1 billion years.
Yeah.
And people still watch it. If they didn't watch it, then it wouldn't be on television.
Yep.
And like, that's the thing, people just love the same thing every week. People like, it's like when I was on dating apps, right? Every girl would say, oh, I'm looking for an adventure buddy. And it's like, they're not. They're looking for someone just to kind of have a very stable and predictable and comfortable life with. I thought, again, this is a classic thing. I've been telling Joe this all day, is that I will come up with 1 billion TikTok ideas, not act on them at all. But like, the classic one is, girl says, oh, I'm looking for an adventure. And then the guy's like, okay, let's go on an adventure. And then they go on like this basically near-death experience. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's like, oh, I thought you said you wanted an adventure. Yep. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure guys do the same as well, not to just like appropriate people based on their gender.
But like, people's idea of adventure is different. Like, some people's idea of adventure is going on a walk outside, like, if they don't understand, like, and there's levels of adventure that we can't even fathom. Certain, like David Goggins probably could tell us all about this, but like, there's levels that we're not even close to, and we're like, oh, we mountain bike down this mountain.
Have you seen the documentary on the Barclay marathons?
No, I have not.
You should go and watch
Barclay marathons?
Yeah.
No.
It's like the hardest running race of all time. It's mental.
Yeah.
And it's like running through like this course. I think only very few people have completed it. I want to say like maybe 10 or so of people have ever completed it, but it sells out every year and people try and do it, and it's just so hard.
Yeah.
And like, like that's someone's idea, but it's kind of like bike riding, like what is hard, like what is enjoyable. Like, I very much find myself in this kind of weird space where I don't want to go out and kill myself on like a triple black diamond, but then also going and riding a blue flow trail has zero enjoyment for me at the same time. But there's just like a very I've been riding for so long at this point. I have a very niche taste, and that's just kind of how it is. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm not doing something wrong, which many people will try and perpetuate, that I am wrong for not liking something, or like, oh, this is just what I want to ride. Like, this is just what I enjoy. Like,
but again, like the people that say that is wrong, like, that's nothing's wrong. Like, as long as you're having fun and you enjoy it, like,
but
it's
I'm not having fun on like a lot of these
no,
trails.
but like Brian's the same way. Brian's very much the same way. And like, now that I know that, like, the first couple of years I started riding, he wanted to come ride with me to, like, because he was stoked that I was getting into riding. Yeah. And I was like, you got to check out this trail. And like, then a year or two later, you realize he's ridden everything. Like, he's ridden everything in the world. The trail I took him on sucked. He hated it, but he was like stoked to hang with me. But he was very considerate. Yeah. But now that I know what his taste is, he wants to climb up and he wants to go down. Like, he doesn't want to ride XC stuff. Like, the trail I took, and like, again, looking back years later, I'm like, man, he must have had an awful time. But like, it's because he's ridden so much and experienced so much. Maybe he just knows what he really enjoys the most. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, guys that go out and just go jump all the time, like, they want to go to downhill parks and jump. Yeah. That is rad. Like,
there are people that just want to ride A-line 15 times a day. Yeah. Like 5 times a week in the season. I'm like, that's it.
And like, when I go to do jump line stuff, it's not like I could do it once, but after a repetition, I like the discovery of something new. So like, or like just being challenged with chunk and alternate lines. That's why, like, Sedona's kind of fun because you can take alternate lines and stuff, and it's like there's always that question, that choice, that decision. But it's like, yeah, there's no wrong answer when it comes to riding bikes as long as you're on it. Like you're on it, and you're having a good time. Like if you wanted to go play golf and hit only with a 5-iron and complete the whole course with only a 5-iron, who's to say that you're wrong?
Yeah. No one. It's just like, I guess, like if you're having a good time and what your goal is. If your goal is to try and, I don't know, shoot a handicap with a 5-iron, then that's a great goal and a challenge, and people should encourage it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's again, it's like it's a very hard thing because my relationship with mountain biking is like, I'm gonna confidently say it's like no one's relationship that are watching this live stream right now. Like not at all. Like I worked for Dirt magazine and Factory Media, which was a big action sports publisher, in 2011, which is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've literally been in like a very core part of the riding scene, and then I lived in Queenstown, and then I lived in Whistler, and then I've lived in France for a bit and ridden down there in Europe, and I've like done the BC bike race and 3 Enduro World Series courses, 2 Enduro World Series 100.
Yeah.
I've done a downhill race at the US Open. Like I've done all these things. Like I haven't won anything by any stretch of the imagination, but like I have done it. Do you know what I mean? And it's so it's like when people are like, "Oh, come and ride this trail." Like when I was down in Southern California, I was just like, what do you want me to do? Just lie to you?
Yeah.
Like this is another thing. Like I feel like people just want everyone to just be like, "Oh yeah, it's amazing," but but I'm like, sorry, I'm just so like I've moved past that point in my life, and it's like, yeah, I'm pretty direct and I'm very opinionated. I'm really sorry. That's just kind of like I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not doing it for attention or anything like that. That is who I am. It's like if I see a problem with someone's mountain bike, like I point it out because I would rather them have a better time, and I believe that if they change this, then they will have a better time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I'm very direct in it, and it rubs a lot of people up the wrong way, and I'm fully aware of this. But like this is just who I am as a person.
I've always discovered like once you figure out how a person is, you can either accept it or have a problem with it. Like I've never had a problem with that because like I've had people in my life. I've said before I have a tendency to get along with everybody because once I understand who a person is, like that's who they are. Like I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm not trying to do anything. So like once you understand it, like I can give you a hard time for being direct. And we get along great because like
that's fine,
totally understand
you're being direct with
like,
me.
It doesn't matter at all. It's like I totally understand it. Like I don't take offense. I generally don't take offense to many things. It's like makes it a lot easier. But I think about like the idea of like, okay, I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've experienced a lot of amazing stuff. That's why like, especially knowing that you live in Squamish, like if I'm going to take you to Auburn, like you're going to be so unimpressed. It's pointless. Like, but I think about that. I'm like, what do you think would bring something you haven't seen before to it? And I think like the fact that you own an e-bike, which is, if you look at this camera right back here, what do you call this? The Dolphin? Flipper.
Yeah.
I think about the ride we did in Downeyville, which was like, and I ran into Robert and his crew when we did this one, and it was just bonkers, but like this backcountry crazy ride that nobody was on. Nobody does, because when you're gonna do 35 miles and 7,000 feet in a day or whatever it is, like you need that to do it. And like, that was exciting to me, like this crazy backcountry adventure that was like not your traditional downhill. It was like getting into trouble and not sure if we're gonna make it back sort of thing. Like you've probably done that too, but like, what do you think?
I've 100% been in that situation where I'm like, my God, I'm gonna die. Like this is really it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, again, I've done it, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but almost dying or almost getting lost somewhere in the middle of it. It's not actually that fun. Like the idea of it is fun because it's very, for a lot of people, it's very foreign. And it's kind of idealized, right? It's kind of like the living in a van thing. Like people are just like, oh my God, it's so amazing. But I'm like, yeah, but also let me tell you about how I had to drive around for 2 hours to find somewhere where I didn't think I was going to get robbed. You know, like, it's like, obviously it's amazing. It's a very, enjoyable way of life. Not for me to do it all the time, but it is cool. But it's just kind of that kind of grass is greener on the other side situation. And if I came and tell everyone like, oh, it's not actually that great, people would be like, oh, well, you're just ungrateful because you're doing it and I'm not. And it's I don't know, it's very hard for, again, like if I say like, oh, I don't fancy riding this week, and it's like, oh, but you can ride all the time. It's like, yeah, but for you, it's it's just different, and like it's hard to explain to people and get them to understand, because they can't.
Yeah, it's like, again, somebody who's seen so much and done so much, it's like it's hard to get excited. Is there something like you think that would like maybe spark it again, or like obviously you're gonna be, but like, is there something that you haven't done that you're like, dude, I want to do that, or it's
like really like I've done everything.
Helicopter drops?
Done them.
Parachute drops into the Everest with skis on your bike that you had to convert into the 29ers afterwards?
Nah, skiing has too much faff.
You ski or snowboard?
Ski, yeah. Skiing is pretty easy as a sport,
That's
actually.
your problem, yeah.
It's the only sport that people do on a holiday.
That's like Lycra territory when you ski, right?
No. What are you talking about?
I think about those old videos when like it was like snow, like the skiers were mad that snowboarders were showing up to their parks, you know, like, like the old school 80s videos. Of the past.
There's one, isn't there like California one? It's like, oh, they just come here.
That's what like mountain biking is for e-bikes right now. That's the territory we're in right at this moment. It's like, those e-bikes don't belong on my trails. It's like, guys, you're getting behind the times already.
Like it's like, why? What do people have problems with?
Yeah.
And invariably it comes, oh, I'm going up there, and an e-bike just comes right past me. Oh my God, couldn't believe it. And it's like, again, I feel like mountain biking has very much become this sport that's like the entire hierarchy of it is based on how good you are.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you don't get that in golf. Like, I'm sure Jay is going to come on here and go, oh no, you totally do. But like, I've never experienced it. Like, I could go, like, for example, I can go out with you, someone who, when was the last time you did it?
I golf like once a year.
You golf once a year. Do you know what I mean? We went out, we had a good time.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got annoyed at some shots or whatever, and so did you. And like, but we did it, and we started at the same time, and we finished at the same time. And it's just kind of like mountain biking. There's very much this like, oh, I'm not going to ride with that person because they're so slow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
It's kind of, that's the worst bit of mountain biking, I think. And just and again, it's like I took this person on this trail and they didn't enjoy it, so I'm not going to ride with them ever again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird, isn't it? Like, that's strange.
I've been in this advantageous position where I'm oftentimes, and maybe some people are surprised by this, but maybe not, I'm just happy to be on the bike, you know? With a family and everything else, it's hard for me sometimes to get a ride in. Like, I haven't ridden in almost a week and a half, like, because like I got to get home, take the kids here and all that stuff. So when I go ride, I've ridden trails by myself. I go out, ride. I run into a guy who's like, hey, I saw you video here. That's why I'm out here, or whatever it is, like, which is surprising enough already. But, and then they approach me and I'm like, hey, have you been out here before? He's like, no, my first time. I'm like, let's go, just roll with me. Like, it's fine. And he's like, I might slow you down. I'm like, I don't care, let's go. Like, I'm just happy to be out there.
Again, but that person had the
idea
lack of self-confidence.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't ride with that person because they're like...
You know what it is, Paul? It's because all mountain bike YouTubers are professional riders. That's why.
I have many contracts that say professional athlete on them, so everyone can suck it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, suck it, pink bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's like, I try to be a steward as much as possible. I don't really, like, I've never subscribed to like the Santa Cruz style where it's like in Santa Cruz, it's very much like go home valley. Like, they don't want unlocal riders to be on their trails, stuff like that.
Again, you speak to the people that do it, and I know Jay's going to get involved in the text from what I'm about to say, but like, you know, people, so the problem there was, you know, they're trying to work with the University of, and bear in mind, I've never been there, but I'm aware of the situation, right?
They've been working on this for a while. Yep, totally.
My relationship with mountain biking is different to everyone. And I'm not trying to do this as kind of a boasting thing. Yeah. Does it come across as a boasting thing or arrogant or anything?
You can ask Chad about that, Paul. I don't know.
Well, what do you think? You're right here again. Okay. And then it's so the problem is like they're trying to have these discussions with the University of Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Is it University of Santa Cruz there?
UC. Yeah, that sounds right. UC.
USC.
They call it UC.
Yeah. And they're trying to, you know, work with them to get permission on the ground, and then they've even said like, look, if you go and talk to the mountain bikers, you'll understand that they're really nice people.
Yeah.
And then they got a reply saying, well, do you know what? We did go down and we did talk to people and we explained to them the situation and they told us to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, and then the university's like, well, what do you expect us to do now?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it apparently, you know, it's a lot of the newcomers that come in and just kind of, there's a lot of entitlement as well in mountain biking, and you know, even there's entitlement for everywhere. Like I got memed the other day for, you know, oh, I've just finished this new trail. Oh, the YouTubers are coming in.
Yeah.
And the irony was that post was me leading a ride on a night where we were raising money for the trails, and then I also donated to my trail fund. Like, do you know what I mean? I do a big yearly donation, and it's like I've also gone and helped. And do you know, it's just kind of like there's also this other kind of entitled culture where it's like, okay, we'll go and put in a couple of days of digging. We can now freaking call out everyone for not helping on the trail.
Yep.
Like, and it's just like, it's almost like mountain biking has a hierarchy problem. Almost, do you know what I thought about it actually? If you're at like a small to medium company and it has a very flat structure where you have like one boss but many employees and the boss doesn't think, oh, someone should be in charge of this person or whatever. And then it just kind of turns into anarchy because no one's in charge. It's almost like that maybe. But I mean, I don't have a solution here. I'm just kind of saying like, you know, I do think it's going to be a problem at some point where something is going to boil over, someone is going to do something wrong, and it's going to be like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, man. I'm not entrenched enough. I know the local organizations like Fat Track and some of the local dig organizations, and everybody that's involved with them is super cool. And they've been doing great work to get the community involved. I feel like Northern California is really good about this stuff, man. They are really dialed in. It seems like the community as a whole is very accepting, other than the Groms, which always give us a hard time, but that's expected because we're old and
What do
stupid.
they do?
No, they build jumps and stuff. And there was like this outburst that came out, and it's rightfully so, that at Folsom Lake, Granite Bay, these jumps had existed for a long time. And to me, it's a great spot for kids to go, have jumps, all this stuff. A great spot, right? But it's also not their land. So when this happened, they bulldozed the whole place. Like Folsom SRA, the state came and bulldozed the place. And amazing, like community all came together. And it wasn't like it wasn't an uproar like, oh, you guys tore our stuff down. It was very little of that. It was more like, this is how you get involved to make this sort of stuff legal and how we can move forward. And I think in general, it was an opportunity for people to understand like what it takes to help stuff become more mountain bike friendly. Like, how do you get involved with the local organizations? How do you vote? And that seemed like a great learning opportunity. And it was a bummer that the place got bulldozed, a complete bummer, because again, think about our age, there was nothing like that for us at the time. Like I remember I would ride my bike to school and back, but I wasn't like building jumps and having a good time. I was out getting into trouble. And so like anyways, it was a great learning opportunity for the community up here, and that really spread out. I think once people saw that happen, it was like now people are involved with Fat Track and Motherload and some of these other organizations we have up here. Nevada City's just authorized full-on downhill mountain bike trails, which is the first. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? So it's like Northern California is starting to become more accepting. Where Brian's property is, they've got authorization to build like something like 80-something miles of trails ready to go. All they need is the money to dig. Everything's already authorized. It's like, we're getting it here, and it's starting to spread, and it's like, that's cool to see the communities build and form. And as that happens, like as more people get involved and understand what it takes, it's been rad, dude. It's been really cool. I don't see the backlash. I don't see the anger. When I'm on the trail, everybody's very conscientious. It's cool. We kind of live in a zone up here that like...
I mean, it will just happen on the internet because it's a faceless thing with no consequences.
Of course. Yeah, but it's been a good experience in general. Like, the community's great. And I'm sure there's tons of thriving communities. It's like, man, once you tap into it, it's so cool to be involved with that. It's like, there's a bike park, Fair Oaks Bike Park, which isn't far from here. The guy Garrett who runs it, and he, by the way, he got on the news recently, and I'm really upset about this because I'm the only local mountain biker that's on the news here. Okay, I'm the only one. All right.
It's a sham. That's what
they call me a professional mountain biker on the news here in Sacramento. Okay, and it's official. I can always tout that. I'm gonna get a shirt that says it. But Garrett got on the news for KCRA because they're looking to expand the Fair Oaks Bike Park, and they do family free rides, which is like, hey, come. Get all your bring your kids, bring everybody, and we'll all go on an easy ride, and we'll just show off the local trails. And it's like, as we expand our bike parks, and that message is spreading, man. It's like, as people learn to ride. It brings me to another point. Like, what would you say, like with mountain biking, I still kind of feel like it's in its infancy. Like, I don't think it's like fully met its potential. Not at all, right? Would you agree?
People aren't comfortable paying to go ride mountain bike trails.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what the problem is there. And like, okay,
in terms of like paying to assist in the development, or what do you mean?
To like just go and, okay, I'm gonna go and ride this place. It's $8. People are like, oh God, I just spent I spent $10,000 on my mountain bike.
Yeah.
Why would I pay to ride it somewhere?
Yeah.
And again, like, I know this is the very easy thing to compare, but like, you wouldn't think like go and play a golf course.
Yeah.
You have to pay.
Yep.
You wouldn't even think about paying it for free, would you?
Yeah.
Like, same principle, but look how long that sport's been going on for, like 1 billion years.
Yep.
And mountain biking is just so new. Like, I grew up, I mean, actually, not even that long ago, we were building, like, on this area in England. I'm not going to say where.
Swindon? Was it Swindon?
Sure,
Yeah,
Swindon.
sure, yeah.
And we could talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was really annoying,
Yep.
actually, that meme. So we were building, and one day we showed up at the spot, and luckily we were just going to ride, because we pulled up, started getting our stuff out, and then this police car just comes out of nowhere and just parks on the other side of the road.
What was he doing?
He was just parking there, and we were like, oh, weird. Policeman's just like stopped. And then we get all our bike stuff out. He's just hanging out there, and I was the last person to close my car.
Yeah.
The moment I closed it, they drove off, because they were looking to see if we were going to get spades out, and then we were going to get done. And anyway, and then not long afterwards, this place, like, they brought a bulldozer in and just completely flattened everything,
Yeah.
even though it was in like this beautiful, land, and we weren't like cutting down trees or anything like that. We were just building around it. But yeah, like, people don't fathom that stuff, where, like, could have got arrested, I guess, for building. And
But I often think too, like in that regard, like if it's somebody else's land, and this is where Brian and Aaron are going to kind of have some questionable things. It's like if it's somebody else's land and somebody has to get airlifted out of there, at that point, then sometimes people don't have an option. Like, you're like, dude, we got to get this out of here, because if people are getting hella lifted out of here, who the hell knows? I don't know how lawsuits work. I know that in America you just sue anybody you want.
yeah,
But like, if somebody's getting airlifted out of UC, or somebody's getting airlifted out of some jump park that you built illegally in somebody else's property, like, dude, at some point your hands are tied, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be like, this, we can't keep this going. Like, even if you supported it to start,
yeah.
like, that's a tricky situation too. I don't know what the answer is. Like, so the cool part is,
Cool part. Well, what you got to do is do what Brian and Aaron are doing, and have like a place that is a formal place that you come and pay
yep,
to ride. And people do.
Yep.
Like, again, people have no problem buying a lift ticket to Whistler.
Yep.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people have no problems doing, various bike parks and whatever. But if you show up to a place where you have to pedal, somehow
yeah,
everyone's like, well, why do I do that? And that's why I'm very big. I mean, I don't go on about it publicly, but I donate to a lot of areas that I've been to. I go on to Trail Forks and I, give them money or whatever, or just give it locally.
Yeah.
And Brian obviously is very good at that. That's one of
Yeah.
the best things about him as a person, I think.
and that's what cracks me up. But like, when people, like, we talked about this earlier, when people started giving crap because Brian was building a property and doing all that stuff. But
Why?
like, just like saying like, oh, you're not making riding videos? Why are you building at a property? You're just jumping on a trend.
Most people have got their own problems, and they're trying to put it on this guy.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, you and I both know
dicks.
that Brian is genuinely for the cause. Like, he has probably done more for trail systems and stuff that they'll ever do. It's like, dude, somebody who's willing to fight, to contribute to local trail organizations, spread the word about local trail organizations. In videos that get hundreds of thousands of views. It's like, dude, there's no question. There's not even any question.
Yeah. But people are just dicks, I guess. And this is the education thing. And it's like, how does this happen? Like, I think there's definitely been a separation. Like, when I first started, it was like, no dig, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like that kind of mentality about it. And I feel like, there's so many new people starting that maybe that is disconnected. But again, that's kind of one of the worst things about mountain biking. People think it's cool to be the no dig, no ride guys. But again, it's like, if you don't have time to dig, just donate some money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
send a few bucks over. But
Exactly.
also, like, if you're just jumping into the sport, you don't know any of this. You need somebody to shepherd. And also, like, it's okay to ride for a while and figure out if you like the sport. You can't give that guy shit. Like, so there needs to be like borderlines. If you've been riding for several years and you've never done anything, it's like, okay, maybe there's a thing. But like, if you're just finding out if you like this thing, you're 6 months in, like, somebody's giving you crap. It's like, you need to have a buffer zone of like, it's okay to go ride and have some fun and figure out if you're into it. And then now, once you figure out you're into it and it's a lifestyle, like, let's always think and talk about it, whatever. And this is part of the things we do. It's like, there's no way that we're not going to contribute. Like, and I love spreading the word about that. I've done videos about local trail digs and stuff like that with Fat Track and all that stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
that all spreads in time, man. And especially when you start meeting people, like again, I've said this before, when I first started riding, I didn't know anybody in the community. I knew nobody. I didn't know how to mountain bike. I picked up a mountain bike and I went to a trail that Brian told me to go to. And it took me like months to find anybody else to ride with.
Yeah.
And of course that's grown exponentially since.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to go on a freaking forum
Yeah.
and be like, I want to go ride at Box Woods. Is anyone else? And then
Yeah.
you'd have to wait for the thing to populate, and then you maybe find one person.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yep.
like, it's different, a different world. And but I also don't want to be that salty person that's like, oh, back in my day, because no one will fathom it, and it's just kind of pointless. It would just be self-serving to do that kind of attitude.
I think it's pretty cool that we live in a time you can join a local Facebook group where they ride. You can find a local meetup group where they ride.
Yeah.
Start to meet people in the community, start to make friends, and then you get to educate it as you go. So it's like pretty cool that we live in that time that as a rider, oh God, I'm gonna die!
I'm getting attacked.
Jesus!
Did you do something to this fire that's somehow pissed it off?
Oh, I'm gonna come away with scars from this night's live stream,
I
Paul.
feel like a fan. Would that work? Just a fan over there to
Paul,
blow the smoke.
Paul, I've got millions of fans, all right? And none of them are helping
No,
right
but
now.
like fans that blow, electrical powered fans, not human fans.
No, you know what we need, Paul, is we need some YouTuber who has a very low subscriber count to come here with a palm leaf and just handle this for us. You know, that's what I expect.
Oh yeah, that's how I cool down at night. I just have a smaller YouTuber come in and just subservient me.
That's the level that I expect. There's got to be somebody in chat that's got like 50 subscribers. You get the hell over here. There's a palm tree back there. You climb it. You pick the damn leaf off the tree, and you take care of this smoke for us. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Paul gets it.
Exactly.
Paul gets it. Who else is in chat? Segment's in here. Good to see you from Southern California also. He might have been able to get you into Torrey Pines.
Who?
The Segment, Mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in here. Yeah, there you go. Crashing Dad's in here. Good to see you, buddy. He says, it's interesting to talk about local organizations that actually build. They say that volunteer dig says make everyone feel all nice, but money donations are actually what make things happen. From land surveys, that's a good point. I mean, like, helping build the trails, but like they have to do a lot of work. They got to do land surveys. They got to go and get the trail authorized. There's a lot of work that goes into building trails. Dude,
Yeah.
it's just cool that we live in a time there is a lot of trails. And you still have that.
It's never been a better time to be a mountain biker.
I know.
Like, look at all this shit, right? These things, nothing goes wrong with them. Like, it's like you don't break wheels anymore. I haven't had a puncture since 2019.
Yeah.
Like, just stuff is so good compared to how it used to be. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But still people don't understand what rebound is.
I know
And that's a
I know
huge
what it
problem.
is.
Tell me. What is rebound?
Uh,
It's not even a Here's the thing. I was on a golf course and
Yeah.
I had this same conversation. And I said, okay, like this is an example. Explain to me what rebound is. And they were like, oh, it's pretty complicated to answer that question. I'm like, it's not. It's not at all complicated. It's very simple, actually. But if you don't know how to
Paul,
set up your
Paul,
bike,
I know what it is, but what I'm going to do
No,
is
no,
I'm
no,
gonna,
no. What
Paul,
is it?
I know what it is, but I'm going to open up the chat, and we're going to find out if they know what it is. Okay, that's what's really going to happen
okay,
here.
we could. When are we going to do the s'mores?
Oh yeah, that's a great point. We're an hour and 40 minutes in, Paul. Can you believe it? We're almost 2 hours in
We're only
already.
halfway.
We're close.
We're only halfway.
Robert's going to be pissed if we break. Yeah, Robert, come on over.
He knows the drill.
Yeah, Robert.
He knows the drill.
Yep.
I am the longest one. I'm the longest on his podcast.
Yeah.
That's just it.
That's when you have like mandatory pee breaks, because I can do 2 hours no problem, but when you hit the 2 hour and 2 minute mark, then I'm about to explode.
Yeah. Okay. But when are the s'mores gonna occur?
All right, you want it? You got it, buddy.
Give me.
All right, you got the camera. The camera's on you.
It's
Talk.
on me?
Talk
okay,
to everybody.
I will now integrate myself with the chat. Hello, chat. Welcome. You're watching Fireside Chat, presented by the Colorado Kid, Joe, as some people like to call him. My name is Paul. That is my name. I will now refer to the chat and discuss any things that I see in here. I'll go from most recent to high, and we'll go out. People saying that I'm going to get a puncture. That is simply not true. That is very misguided fake news. Those that suggest this will not understand. So obviously I have Kenda tires. By the way, I have a new discount code. I don't get any commission off this. Affiliate codes are the work of the devil. Okay. However, if you use code Punter30, way simpler this year. Wait, is it Punter30? It's Punter30. Okay. Punter30. And you guys live in the States, which I know most of you do right now. You can save 30% off some tires. Now, if you buy a pair of tires, that's $80. Okay. That's a lot of money, isn't it? That's a lot of money.
It's an insane amount of money.
And this is why I talk about it all the time, because they're good tires. For around here, if you live in California, the Pinner, that's the one. The Hellcat has much softer knobs on it, so it's not so good for the hard ground. Oh, I see John is from the Philippines. Hello. Huge Philippines based community. And here they, oh wow, here we go.
You get first dibs.
Oh, incredible. Incroyable, as the French say.
Yep.
Okay. A Coastside MTB has said that rebound is when you hit the gym a bunch and get a new hairstyle. I feel like that's maybe not related to mountain biking, but you know, potentially it is. I also have a Kenda water bottle, Jay.
Oh my
that's
God,
very
we're
true.
gonna
Yep. Someone approved Biker's response. I wouldn't have approved that, but you know, that's how you go.
What did he say?
Okay.
Justin Drake says,
I see. Yeah, don't say that out loud.
Okay.
But I see that is correct. Garrett says he's lucky if he can get the right PSI in his shocks. Tell me how you find the right PSI, for example. And yeah, people saying that I'm going to get a puncture in the next ride. That's simply not true, because I check my tire pressure before every single ride, and I feel
every single ride.
And I feel that is why people get punctures, because they don't check it often enough. I feel like Joe has just popped off to a little gentleman's break, should we say? So I'll continue on this endeavor. Okay, so people are still talking about that. So let's see, what have we got? I feel that, yes, Garrett, you are, no, not Garrett, Justin, apologies. That is true. Rebound is how slowly the shock returns afterwards. Here we go, Kyle has put in a much longer response. It's a very simple explanation. Rebound is the opposite reaction to the compression stroke of the suspension. Yeah, I guess in some ways that would be true. The opposite reaction to the compression? Okay, yeah. The rebound adjustment is for damping or slowing the rebound stroke. Yeah. Rebound, bounce back. Okay, so Robert, Kenda tires don't suck. That's just simply not true. Otherwise, I wouldn't use them. I only have 3 sponsors. I only actually work with people that I actually want to work with. That's how I go. That's why I don't work with One Up anymore. Yeah, that's how it is.
Wait, what happened with One Up?
I didn't really feel like I aligned with their culture.
Okay.
So, and I was just kind of like, I don't really understand why I'm here, like representing the brand. So that's why I didn't.
They didn't like British people?
Okay, so here we go. Yes, Shane, we can always count on Carl for the long answers. Am I still on this camera, by the way?
No, I put it on the 3rd camera just now.
Okay, oh great.
You were there the whole time.
Where was the direction? Where's the red light?
Oh, sorry. Kyle knows how to read the lights.
Okay, so what's that? So that's the middle
3rd
light?
is the middle, yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
What's 1?
1's mine.
Okay, but
most important
what's that
one.
What's 3? Which button is 3?
3 is the center.
No, but which button is 3?
There's one right there. So
Is
look,
it left of
3,
that red?
3, 2, 1.
1,
Yep.
2.
2 is looking at you.
2 is over there.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
And
And
3
3 is the main one.
Yeah.
All right, I can read the cameras now. Okay. Anyway, okay. If someone can tell me, but why does rebound matter? Garrett, that's a great question, and I'm going to explain right now. Have you ever ridden with someone? Okay, I'm on 3, right?
Yep. No, you're here. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. That's 2.
I got you.
But it goes 1, 2.
You're on
1,
2.
2,
You're on
3.
2. It's on you. You're important right now.
The reason rebound is important is that rebound is directly related to the air pressure in your suspension or your spring rate, however you want to call it. And a lot of people will get their rebound. And this actually happened to Heather the other day. She got her new bike and someone turned up and put all of her rebound in the middle position. That is just so uneducated. I don't even know where to begin.
I was going to say the same thing.
You don't, were you? I feel like I don't know if that was a joke or a bit. Is that a bit?
No, Paul, Yeah, I know what rebound is. That's why, yeah, I'm just testing chat.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I say I've put more rebound
Yeah, yeah,
on your suspension,
yeah.
what will have happened to the suspension?
Exactly.
I'm asking you, what will have happened to the suspension if I
That's
put
what I
more
always say.
rebound on?
That's what I always say, Paul.
No.
Wait, if you put more rebound
Yeah.
on your suspension,
Yeah. What will have happened to
it
the
will
suspension?
come up faster when you hit a bump.
That is incorrect.
No, that was theoretical. That was hypothetical.
No, well, it's incorrect. It can be hypothetical. It can be metaphysical.
Okay, explain
can be
it, Paul. All right, fair enough. Yeah.
Because rebound, if you didn't have any rebound damping, you would just have, right? The rebound, basically, it's closing a valve that restricts how fast oil moves through something else.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you turn your dial, that's why you turn it to the right, because
Yep.
you're closing it, and that is restricting the move, so it will move slower.
Okay.
So the more air pressure you have, let's say air, let's use air over coil for whatever minute, just in case there's a pedant, if there's a me in the comment
Okay. Okay.
section. The more air pressure you have, the more rebound damping you need to counteract that pogo situation, or it just coming back too fast.
So the more rebound you have, gives you less rebound, is what you're saying.
It makes it slower. The fork returns slower.
So it's like clipless, even though you're
Probably
clipped.
something like
It's
that.
the same idea. So
Probably something
the
like that.
more rebound you have,
clipless comes from toe
it
clips.
slows your down, right? It slows this down,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So
That's the opposite of what I would think.
yeah, that's
Wouldn't you
what's
like
wrong.
the more rebound you have, the faster, right? More rebound, it
No.
rebounds faster.
Because if you didn't
Less
have
rebound, it rebounds less fast.
no, but if you had no rebound damping on your fork,
Yeah.
it would just come back really fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you put in more air pressure, the faster it will return.
They should call it resistance.
And resistance sounds more in tune with compression, which is how much force it takes to compress your fork.
I did a cut to me with a confused look because
Because you're confused.
I'm mildly confused. So
Okay.
we're clarifying now in the chat. No, Charlie Hicks, thanks you for the $20. Okay, we're gonna keep continuing this
How do I
conversation.
do this?
He says,
again?
okay, we're gonna give Paul a rundown on it. He says, I was scared one time watching YouTube. Paul was riding in Sedona with a great crew, almost impaled himself on a very pointy root or stump
yeah.
sticking up in the middle of the trail. Damn, I thought Paul was dead. Too close.
So did I. That's gone now, that route. It's on the inside of one of the corners on Hogs.
They
It's
pulled it
gone.
out of there.
Yeah. Probably from that video
Yeah,
where I almost died.
yeah.
That was definitely up there with the most scared I've been.
Yeah.
If I'm looking, I just have that stop situation because it's a jank turn,
Yeah.
and I just stopped, and then I couldn't unclip, and I just looked down, and there was just this pointy thing, and I was like, oh fuck. Right, how do I do this again? Like,
Okay,
what-
so the rule is you need 2 graham crackers.
two, is that two?
No, you grab another slice. So you got 2 of those.
Yeah.
I usually do 1 marshmallow per. Okay,
So
so,
I
you'll roast
stick
1
this.
marshmallow. Now
Yeah.
you can extend that stick too. You can extend that stick. Oh yeah, nice and. Can you do that slower for the
Telescopic.
camera?
Telescopic.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Then you can use your chocolate of choice. We've got Ghirardelli.
I'm gonna go Hershey's.
We've got Hershey's. We've got peanut butter cups, which are the unsung gem thus far in the Fireside chats. People
Okay.
are absolutely in love with the Reese's peanut butter cups as a
Okay.
base. But you've got caramel-filled Ghirardellis. You've got all kinds of stuff. We're gonna
wow.
dive right in here. This is s'mores hour, ladies and gentlemen. And Paul has a bad association with s'mores, but
No, we're not gonna go into it.
no,
though.
we're gonna bring him right back into the fold.
Literally, one of the things in my rider was that we were not going to go into the s'mores.
I know.
thing.
That's why we're not going to. All
But-
we're going to say is that I'm going to bring you back to the fold and give you a
So
positive s'mores memory.
This is the only. Yeah, I've only done it once before, right? So
Yep.
I really, guys, s'mores in the UK, not a thing.
Yeah.
They're just not a thing.
Yep.
I'm very sorry about this, but I'm unfamiliar with how you do this.
So then, when we roast the marshmallow, everybody's got their personal choice. I'm sure chat always likes to chime in on this, but I like to kind of get
Oh,
it
just
warm,
above?
up above,
Yeah.
to where it starts to get gooey, and then I finish it with a roast.
Yeah, I don't like it charcoal.
Yeah, so
that
then
was
you
something
wanna
that
keep it
happened
up
in the
high.
last experience.
See, I often like that final charcoal finish. It gives me like that, what would you say, the caramelized sugar taste, right? Like that's kind of what you get from
Exactly
that.
what it is, I guess.
That's
yeah.
kind of what you get from that burn.
Yeah.
And so I get it moist. I try to get the center kind of warmed up.
Oh,
'Cause
you're not rotating as much as I am. I'm going to stick with the rotation method though.
You'll see it.
I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
basically
that's
once it
crucial.
gets gooey in the center, that's when I finish. Because otherwise, if
How
you
do you know when it's gooey in the center?
it'll start to fall off.
Oh, it will.
You'll feel it, yeah.
I'll
And
feel it.
well,
Oh,
you'll
boy.
start to see it droop. But like again, like some people will roast it early and have a strong center. I like to get the center moist. Wait, that sounds inappropriate. I like to get it warm you know, the wife's not at the window telling me to shut up. Then I like to finish it with a toast. So everyone's got their personal preference. I'm sure everybody in chat will be able to chime in on this.
No. I have no patience.
Then you can just go right into the fire like this too.
Oh, whoa, you're insane. Wait, that's moving. Yours has definitely moved.
See, they go like this.
It's sliding. It's sliding.
Yep, it's getting there.
Whoa. Whoa, yours is on fire. Yours is on fire.
Then you finish it like that.
Oh, wait, mine's moving. Mine's moving.
Yep, there you go.
And then you squash it on.
Yep, you squash it on, and then you got to get the chocolate first, or I guess second's fine.
Yeah.
So marshmallow goes on top of the chocolate, or put the chocolate on top. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Then the other thing on top.
Squash it.
Squash it in.
Okay.
And there you go. You got a sandwich.
I did it.
And that's how you dive in.
Guys, they did it. Hit the like button for a good s'more.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let's jump right in.
Oh, that was great. What's Brian's one rule? Like, don't eat on camera.
Oh, he has given me confirmation that it's okay.
He hates it. He hates it when people eat on camera.
He gave me confirmation that it's okay here, because this is the whole point. We're diving right in. Look at this. I got the Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm diving right into that.
John Heister has said he can see a video series called Paul's Splaining where I get way too. Yeah, I could do that. I've got a couple new, like, I'm just trying to wait for a video that I really want to make. Like the Patrick one, I really wanted to make it. Spent like a whole week shooting it and then editing it and everything, and I was really happy with it.
I think it came out really good. It was motivational. It was
Someone
informative.
said, kind of just depends on rider weight and speed over how much rocks. I mean, yeah, it will depend on the weight, because your spring rate or your air pressure depends on your weight and how fast you ride. Like if you look at someone like Couscous, who was a World Cup racer, but he weighs what, 170, 180 pounds maybe?
Yeah.
He's still putting more force probably through the bike than Robert does, who weighs, fair to say, a little bit more. So it's like, it's not quite cut and dry as that.
Okay.
Well, I guess is what he's saying.
Jumping in over here. I'm going deep diving in for another one already.
I want to go for the caramel situation.
Sea salt and almond? I'm gonna have to dive into that.
Sea salt?
Sea salt and almond.
That'll be crazy.
Okay, hold on.
Wow, someone said add some sea salt and Cholula.
Oh shit.
Cholula? Is it hot sauce?
Hot sauce. It just so happens I have Da Bomb handy.
No, you're insane if you do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, should I get Paul to try Da Bomb with a s'more?
Nope.
Nope. I wouldn't do it either. I don't blame you. Although, if we had some chicken wings handy, we might dive right into that. Here we go. Wow. S'mores hour. The most envied moment in any live stream is the s'mores hour with the Fireside chat. If you need any whiskey, let me know, Paul. We're doing good. We're doing good on time. Everything's looking good. Paul's reading chat right now. It's a good chance to catch up. This is our opportunity. Like, as we kind of get to this section of the live stream, we're about 2 hours in. If you guys have any questions in chat, you can pose them to us. If you have any questions for Paul, you can ask him. He did title the video "Ask Paul Anything," and I don't know if anybody's actually asked Paul anything. So.
Yeah, I'll literally answer any question with full honesty. I've definitely gone past that point in my life where I am bothered.
One thing that was pretty fun that we did out at the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival was our live stream, our Instagram live stream, which turned out really well.
Ask them anything.
Yeah.
I always, like, I was quite pleased with that stroke of genius. And then we tested it on yours, and I wanted to see how it went down. And then actually it went down pretty well.
Yep.
And I was going to do it on mine the next day, but we all went out and partied too much, and I got too hungover.
Yep.
True story.
Here we go.
Here we go. Do you have any questions? I will answer any question you have right now.
I ask all my questions.
Really? You don't have any deep, meaningful something?
I will say, like, something I found interesting through our many adventures is something we discovered last night, which was, I don't think it's unknown knowledge that you are colorblind. That's not like a crazy thing, right?
No, it's, yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Like,
but what I thought was fascinating is you found that app that essentially shows us what you see.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go vice versa because you don't see what we see.
No, I just see the two things that are apparently different to you. It's exactly the same to me.
I thought that was fascinating because oftentimes, like, I think of how could I understand this person better, or understand what they see or what they hear or what, right? Like, and that was fascinating because I got an idea of what you actually saw, and like that helped me understand it a lot more. Like that was really cool. I thought that app, you think about technology and what it's done for us, like that was really cool. I found that really fascinating.
Shout out to Tim from Trail Manos' partner that she showed me that.
Good old Timmy Yerkes. Yeah, it was really interesting. Really cool. Oh, Biker's going to bring the nuggets into bomb. Oh my God, I got to bomb already. We just got destroyed last time we did that. Absolutely. That would clear my sinuses from all the smoke. No question about it.
I remember when Robert did it with... Brian's actually done it twice, I guess. He did it with Robert as well.
And I think when Robert did it, he said his internet kept cutting out. So like the whole thing got interrupted. Like it was great. It was great. Okay.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Kyle says, what's your favorite caffeinated beverage, Paul?
Caffeinated beverage.
Caffeinated beverage.
Ooh. I mean, coffee. You can't really go wrong with that. I'm not one for the
Wait,
sugar.
not tea?
Oh, I think tea. Do you know? I think tea has more caffeine in it than coffee.
Some teas do. It is true.
Yeah, but it's just more available than coffee. That's why we get so jacked on it. But I had a
told
very
me he's going to make me proper tea, and he hasn't yet.
I will do. But we went to a Starbucks for the traditional American experience on the way home.
That's true.
But I like when, if you work in action sports, Red Bull is generally like free on tap, and you can get quite dangerous when you get onto a good trail of it. Like when I was at Rotorua Crankworks covering that, there was one point I was so tired. I just got on this train of Red Bulls, and it was dangerous, but that's how it goes.
He also says, sounds bad. Hold on. I saw it. I'm catching up. Hold on. Stand by. I saw the question. Paul, okay, this is the segment. Mark down in Southern California. Mark's amazing. If you haven't subscribed to the segment, you're a fool. Paul says, Paul, there is a seat tube, seat post. Why do they call the seat a saddle?
Saddles are on horses, I think. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess a saddle is something where you sit on it to ride it, whereas I guess a seat is more of a stationary thing. But then you have a car seat. Is that stationary? I don't know.
No definitive answer. Okay.
Just think about the letters O-U-G-H in the English language, and that'll melt your mind.
Okay. Coast Side MTB says, Paul, should I buy a new range with the built-in air fryer, or is it just a fad? Air fryers, are they just a fad, Paul?
I think they're a huge fad, aren't they, right now? All my social media feeds are just freaking people air frying things. And one of them was like really basic, like, okay guys, check out this breakfast hack. I get 2 slices of bread and I crack an egg in it. I put it in my air fryer for 7 minutes. I come out, I've got egg in bread. I'm like,
here's the most amazing part of a new fad. You could do the same thing everyone's been doing for generations. You could just do it in that thing and you'll get millions of views or whatever it is. Like, oh, I made an omelet in an air fryer. If you're the first person to post that video, see ya, you're off to the races. Absolutely 100%. Maybe you should just jump on more fads. That's what we need. We need like something along that lines. Yes, it is a fad. My father-in-law gave us one once. I didn't even know it was a thing. We never touched it and we ended up giving it back and doing something else with it. I was like, I don't even know what this is. Little did I know he was on the forefront of air fryer technology. Like, but I couldn't even fathom what to do with an air fryer. I'm like, I have an oven. I don't know what you do with an air fryer, but apparently it's a thing.
Yeah. Do you know what have you ever heard of Pareto law?
No.
It's like a sales thing, but I think it actually applies. I think it might be a more general thing. It's where you get 80% of your business from 20% of your customers. And I would bet that 80% of the usage of air fryers comes from 20% of the owners of air fryers as well. Just think like, do you really need an air fryer? Like, will that sincerely improve your life? If you sit down and you have that honest conversation and the answer is no, then no, you don't need an air fryer.
Like, I feel like the only people that own toaster ovens, for example, are people that have exorbitant amounts of counter space, which I don't have.
No, you don't.
Would you agree?
You have a huge family to look out for.
But like, where am I going to throw a toaster oven when I have a real oven right here? What does a toaster oven add to this process?
What does a toaster oven do?
It's like a mini oven, but like you have a full oven.
You have an oven? Do you have a double oven situation? Yeah, that's what a toaster oven is. I think
a toaster oven's like this big. It's like this big. Wait, did somebody knock on the door?
No, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait, what are we doing that's offensive?
Yeah,
We
oh
haven't done anything.
no, oh no. But like a toaster oven's like this big, and you just put stuff in it, and theoretically you like cook bagels in it. But like, what else would you use a toaster oven for?
I feel like toaster ovens are for people that don't have ovens.
Yeah.
Think about it like that.
Yeah. Who doesn't have an oven?
Many people.
Oh, here's another question. This is a good question.
That's a privilege answer right there, Joe.
Yeah, I know. No, but even most people have like. I'm talking about ovens. Like when I go to Mexico, it's a wood oven. Like they have a big old thing in the backyard, and they cook with that. Like that's still an oven. Like
yeah,
that's a legitimate.
There are people in lower socioeconomic situations that they might have one hob.
They don't have a toaster oven, I can assure you, Paul.
But they could have. That's how they have an. That's what I'm saying. That's how they have an oven.
Oh,
is with a toaster oven.
Fair enough. There is a niche. Maybe they need an air fryer too.
I feel like my nan actually has. She doesn't have an oven. She has a toaster oven.
Okay.
But her house is from long ago as well.
This is what you've done here, Coastside MTB. You've totally derailed this chat. Okay, this is a good question. Mid-Pack MTB says, did Paul find someone to hire for his offer?
No.
Now, have you had people inquire?
Yes.
And it's got to be a thing of like, this either won't work or you're not qualified enough at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm dying to find someone because I feel like that would change everything. It's just having someone to make filming videos a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because now I have I've still got the movie to finish at the end of the month, and we're booked in to go to Kamloops there.
Yeah.
And finish it all off. But yeah, like it's just I didn't have enough people apply. I mean, I feel like I sent the video around to many people, just being like, "Am I insane in this video?" And everyone's like, "No, you're not insane." People were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're offering this." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, this is a junior role, and this is more than the junior roles get offered at Ping Bike." So,
but I mean, like,
and a better lifestyle.
I thought it was great. Like, the idea is like, one, are you just getting into this, or are you experienced enough? But you get exposure, you get to work with somebody who's influential in the industry. Like, that's
like, do you like videoing? Do you want to make a job out of it?
Yeah.
Especially, this is the place to do it.
That's what I mean.
Really
like,
into it.
Think about somebody who's also getting involved in the industry that like wants to meet people in the industry. Like oftentimes you want to associate yourself with people that know a lot of people in the industry because you kind of meet those people because you work with that person, and it's like, oh, all these things benefit you in the long run, like as you work your way up.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows? Plus, like they have to live in Squamish to do this, so that's kind of like that's hard because if they don't live there already,
I had so many messages of people dying to live there. No.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, a ton of people want to live there. So it's like, it's a qualifier, but like, I don't know.
And then people say like, oh, that's not enough money to live in Squamish. I've had that. And I'm like, the average salary in the Greater Vancouver area is like 69,000, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not that far off, is it?
Yeah.
Like, and also you're getting benefits and you probably get a bike out of it. Like,
I don't think anybody's saying that it's unreasonable what you offered.
I think
it was great. But like the fact that
it's very hard to find that person.
It is, no, but it's not just because of you. Like that's anybody. Like if you're going to find the person that you have to mesh with them. They have to be able to produce what you expect, right? And they have to like be on the same page. Like, and you have to work with them constantly. So you kind of got to get along. Like there's it's not just like filling a void. It's somebody that's like, you get along with, like, because otherwise it's going to fall apart quick, as it with anybody. If I hire somebody to be my thing and they can't stand my pompous attitude and I can't stop talking, they're going to be out instantly.
Like you've interviewed people before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of mind-blowing when you start interviewing people for the first time?
Yeah.
And then you're like, you think about all the interviews that you've had and you're just like, yeah, wow, I didn't get this job because of something bad. It's just that it wasn't like the right fit.
It just didn't
like,
fit.
It really is
exactly.
that.
It's totally true. Totally true.
It was so funny when I hired a bunch of people at Ping Bike, right? And it was just like, it was so mind-blowing. It's like, yeah, it's more just about like, are you a person that I want to hang around with?
Yeah.
And that's why I said in the video, like, hey, heads up, like I'm really bothered about videos I made, and I'm not the easiest person to work with. And then I'm trying to do better. Do you know what I mean? I think most of the problem with people that like when I worked at Ping Bike with Chris, like me and him, bulletproof. Yeah. Like we made some things that were way above what was expected of us, and then, but yeah, that was different. And then like when it comes to me, I haven't had someone full time. Yeah. They've always been on day rates. Yeah. So I'm very self-conscious more about like, okay, how do I use this person do I get the most value out of them?
Yeah.
Which is why taking on a salaried person would just would remove that stress of the, okay, I've paid for something, I must get value out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, if you had Netflix as a subscription, right? You're like, I got a subscription, I'll just watch it whenever I like.
Yeah.
But if you had to pay per video, you would be like, ooh, like, do I really want to watch this tonight? Like, is this worth 50 cents? Like, oh, I don't know. I only get 20 of these a month. I don't know if this is actually, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to.
That's a great example. That's a great example. Yeah, you're already involved. It's like, I'll watch whenever I get a chance. That's 100%. That's a great example.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Well said, Paul. Well said.
Thanks.
I didn't think you had it in you.
Neither did I.
Okay, so here we go. John Heister says, Paul, I'm heading to Squamish in late June for the first time. What one ride not to miss or one thing I shouldn't miss off the bike?
Do you know how many messages I get of this
a
day? There's at least 1 or 2 a day.
You got to come up with a default answer. It'll make your job easier.
But then it's like I have so many other questions.
Yeah.
How good are you at mountain biking?
Yeah.
How long have you been mountain biking? How long are you there for? What bike do you have? What do you want to ride? What do you prefer to ride? How much climbing do you want to do? Do you want to just show? Like, yeah. There's such an open-ended question. I mean, I'd say, must do things. There's a donut place called Fox and Oak.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Go there. There's Alice and Brome, my preferred ice cream of choice, endorsed by Paul the Punter.
Okay. Did they get a discount code?
No. That's like, do you think $8 Canadian is a lot for an ice cream?
How much is that in US?
$6. $6.
That's reasonable. It's totally
yeah,
reasonable.
It's freaking delicious as well. They're the mini egg ice cream.
I will pay anything for price doesn't matter. When we're paying $5 for a coffee and beyond, it's like $8 ice cream is totally in the books. Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, definitely that. Like those two, Fox and Oak and the ice cream place. And then there's Backcountry Brewery. They gave me a reason to buy a house because I was like, we only used to have one pub in the entire of the place. And then like everywhere else, there's like a billion breweries just like pop up. And this place turned around and they're doing bonkers. And they always have they do very well. Like, I wonder if the beer is actually different.
Yeah.
But every week they bring out this new beer that has like a movie reference as the name of the beer. And everyone's just like, ha ha ha.
Like it'll be like the big Hopowski or something?
Yeah, like we had go to your home ball.
Yeah.
Like the Happy Gilmore one. Like, and there's loads of them.
Yep.
And people just go in all the time like, I've got to try the new one. I'm like, is this much different to the other ones? Like,
good marketing.
Yeah.
Good marketing.
Genius. They're killing it.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe them, but...
I have bad news. The Lone Ranger is in here. Says, don't you dare talk bad about air fryers or toaster ovens.
Yeah, he's talking to you.
What did I say?
You were like, who could possibly have a toaster oven?
I know. He likes toaster ovens, apparently. I still don't see the void, but there you go. You clearly don't die with frozen foods often. What do you mean? Like, that's what air fryers are for? Frozen foods or toaster ovens?
Do I really want to try it? I want to try the one bite frozen pizza.
Yeah.
Are we going to do that tomorrow?
No, sounds awful.
Why?
It can't be good.
Why
Frozen
not?
stuff's never good. I'll take you to a good pizza place, Paul. Trust me.
Can we
we'll
do
go
both?
eat good pizza.
I've never had a deep dish Chicago pizza.
We'll go get deep dish.
That's what we got to do.
I'll take care of you. Okay. Making hot wings in an air fryer. Okay, fair enough. Leftover pizza in a toaster oven. Yeah, that makes sense, but why not heat it in a regular oven?
While Ryan's here,
yeah.
Which camera?
You're here.
That Noble Jerky. Unbelievable. I've been eating so much of it. Anyway, next.
Wait, what is the Noble Jerky? Is it like non-meat jerky?
Yeah, non-meat jerky.
What is it comprised of?
I think it's soy-based like most of them, but
okay.
Delicious.
Delicious?
Delicious.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. If you lived in Sac, I'd apply, Paul. Can't move up to Canada,
And do you know how many messages? That's the most annoying message where everyone's like, oh, I wish I could, but I live in Malaysia. I'm like, cool, thanks. But it's almost like, am I a dick for not wanting to hear that? I asked you.
Basically, what you've just said to Kyle is that you're annoyed with him and he's a fool. Like, I think it's what you just said to Kyle.
How dare you get me cancelled? But like, that's the thing again. It's like, if you really wanted to do it,
yeah,
you could move to Canada.
Yeah,
like, I've done many times where I've gone, I really want to do that. I'm just going to go and do it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we live in a world where we have wives.
And then you say this.
And
but
we
then
have
again,
other stuff.
That's not, that kind of person wouldn't even be entertaining. If you have like no other, if you have no real like things tying you down, What's stopping you moving to Canada for a summer? What's stopping you doing all this shit?
That's the stuff that I wish I would have done when I was younger. And I'm not that old as it speaks, like, but with a family, it's a little bit harder. But yeah, imagine like, had I realized that coming out of college or whatever else, like you can just go places and stay there for a year and there's no consequences. Like,
do what you like.
Had I known that, or maybe if it settled in, I don't know what it was, but like I traveled a lot, but I didn't stay in places. When I moved to Colorado, it was the first realization that I had that like you can be at a place for a couple years, learn new things, meet new friends, learn a city. It was incredibly enlightening. Then I moved to LA, did the same thing over again. Then I came back up here because we have family here and all that stuff, and there's lots of adventure.
There are things that are more important.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's quite a selfish endeavor, but then you can be in a place where you can be selfish. Do you know what I mean?
We've already said, like, my wife's very adamant about this also, and she's like really on point with this. Like, she's told our kids, like, when you graduate, we want you to go travel for a year and go live somewhere else. We want you, like, and once you plant that seed and once you do it once, you're like, well, that's easy. That's not that hard. And then you can go like, boom, let's go here, let's go here, let's do, and you're like, we'll support that completely. Like, I think worldly experience is something that is invaluable.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that's easily attainable. I've always thought, and this is kind of on a side subject, but I've always thought it'd be cool if there was some way to subsidize travel for people. Say like, because when people travel somewhere,
they can go get a job, mate. And
no, but like when people travel to a country for vacation,
well,
they spend money in the economy. They go to local restaurants, they go to do this, they go to do that, they do tours, they do all this stuff. They breed money into the economy, right?
Yeah.
If there was a way to like make the flight cheaper, say, hey, like there's an incentive right now for Brazil or wherever, like we're covering $400 the cost. You come over here, and if you can get people into the country,
the rate of return on that would not make economic sense, I'm sure.
Paul, there's plenty of money in this world. Somebody could figure this out. You know what I mean? But like, if you made the way to get there cheaper, then if people came and spent money in the country, you know.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They have working holiday visas for younger people below 30 and younger, right? That is what you're talking about. It's very easy to apply, pay $50 or whatever for a 2-year visa, and then you can go and work in the foreign country.
But you still have to pay to get there yourself. You still have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, if there was
how much does it cost? How much does it really cost?
What do I know?
Listen, if you're a younger person and like, okay, there's obviously a lot of privilege reasons in that instance, your parents are looking after your food and board, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you are in a place where you get the basic stuff and you're not reliant on going to get a job to even eat food, like you can live at home, save up $1,000 from a job. It will also teach you the value of good jobs in the future. We've all had shitty jobs. And then you look back and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I had to do that. That's terrible. Like, that is life. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on that. And it's like, you can save up the money and buy a flight ticket and go to these places. Like, it's possible. Other people have done it. It's not like you'd be the world first to do that.
But why does it have to be restricted to younger people? I'm not referring specifically to younger people. Like, I mean, in general, like, if somebody, like, again, if you got them in the country and they were bringing money into the economy somehow, like, again, I don't know the politics behind it, but if you made it easier.
Okay, well, let's look at it like this. The older you get, the more of a burden you are on society in terms of your healthcare. That's fact.
Yeah. But like, think about this. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, most people, we talked about this earlier, to get them off the couch takes a lot.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it a little easier to get off the couch, maybe a bigger percentage is likely to get out.
It's freaking as easy as it can be right now.
You'd be surprised.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. As the famous saying goes.
I'm just trying to teach them that, you know?
Yeah, it's just
if you show somebody what the rest of the world is like maybe they start to get a worldly perspective.
Well, then but if they never see it, start crying themselves to sleep if they really knew what the world is like right now.
Yeah, if they knew what riding was like in Swindon, they'd never come back.
Oh my God, it's one trail. Terrible.
Ryan says, I'm poor now because of the noble jerky. Sorry, family.
So good. It really is. It doesn't exist around here. Like, only Whole Foods you can get vegan jerky, but yeah.
My kids constantly give me crap because they want me to make beef jerky again because I make it. But like, the problem is it's a very long process. I got to slice the meat. I got to marinate it overnight. I got to dry it for 8 hours, all this stuff. And then they eat it in a day. Like, I'm like, I could just cook you a steak. It'll be way easier. Like, if it's like, oftentimes when I make it, it's like I'm going on a hike, I'm going on a big ride or something. We're camping, we're somewhere where I can't cook. You know, like, but they are just like, oh, I'm going to snack on it while we're watching a movie. I'm like, no.
Why not just restrict them on it?
I do.
Give it a higher value.
I do. That's
I don't know. What am I doing telling you that parent? What the fuck do I know?
Act like I'm not a parent, Paul.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I'll be calling you when I'm a parent. It's like, oh my God, kid's pissed itself again. I don't know what to do.
You know what it'll do? I'll give you advice with parenting,
Itself
like you
also?
give me advice for YouTube. You'll be like, what do I do now? He just peed on the couch. I'm like,
wait.
let me tell you what to do, Paul.
Sit down. Let me tell you. My kids are in college.
Let me give you the rundown here. What gluten mostly for the wheat gluten mostly for the noble jerky? Okay, interesting. Unprofessional Kyle just said, I take it back. I wouldn't even apply.
Yeah, there you go. See, like this is again the thing.
You've upset Kyle. You've upset Kyle live on a place that he's been 3 to 4 times.
I've upset many people in this situation.
I'm pretty certain you can never offend Kyle. Kyle's Kyle. We all love Kyle.
He's great. I really enjoy how he's so into the same music that I have, but he's so unassuming and in many ways I feel like I would be unassuming about like the emo skate punk that I've been into since I was 14 and just won't listen to anything else.
Kyle happens to have a big...
He's so funny as well, Kyle. It's
Kyle happens to have a giant tattoo of a fish on his leg now.
Yeah, great. Brilliant. Is it a carp? Because I believe a carp is associated with good luck.
It's a bass.
Okay, I don't know what that's associated with. Maybe he just likes fish.
From here on out, we can say, Kyle, you've got a really nice bass.
Bass fishing. Do you ever go around? What's that smell? It smells fishy. Oh, it's his arm. Oh,
yeah. That's a big old bass he got.
Yeah. Did he? Is it like a life-sized bass, or is it scaled to a different size?
It's appropriately sized for a bass that I would catch for sure. It's
Okay.
like it's on the smaller side, but you could catch a bass that size.
Okay, got it.
It's not like the pineapple on your arm. That's like a small version of a pineapple.
I mean, it's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about how you look at it through a magnifying glass, and that's how I define life. Really, that's what my dad always said.
Okay. I don't get it. Was that I was like, crap, I've missed one. Next question.
All right, next question. Okay, stand by. I'm trying
Let's
to avoid
put the world to right. Let's have some meaningful questions going on.
Okay, yeah, this is your final opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
We are doing 3 hours, and we are not doing a minute later.
We're at 2 hours and 20. I mean, there's no reason why we can't.
Yes.
No, I'm not making jerky in the air fryer. War within NTB. No, it's not going to happen. If you guys have any more questions, this is your opportunity. Otherwise, we can keep talking all night long. There's no question about it. Rainbow trunk. Yeah, exactly. Man, there's so many good people in here. Robert's in here, who's an amazing YouTuber. I love it. He did a recent thing with the Versus tires, which is really fascinating because we talk about the idea of like different tires in the industry, and it's fun to see competition from Axis because they've been around forever. And I'm really curious to try different tires. I don't know. Like, I got a chance to ride in Sedona.
Can I just, I didn't actually answer John's question.
Yeah.
He said, like, what's one ride not to miss? I mean, if you're, okay, let's say if you're a bluish trail.
Yep.
Rupert. It's rated as black, but you could probably get away with calling it a blue. There's various like alternative lines around if you don't want to ride the feature.
Yep.
And then if you are an advanced rider and you, let's say you go and ride Rupert and you're fine. There's another trail called Somewhere Over There.
Okay.
That is not one that would be suggested, but it is one of the best trails in Squamish. With Somewhere Over There is great.
Yeah.
And it's a great name as well, right? The guy Gary named trail Somewhere Over There.
Yeah.
Like if you think about that in a sentence, like
Where's the trail?
Let's go ride somewhere over there. And like he's got a bunch of trails like that. And then he did one a couple of years ago called Tomorrow. Like when do you want to ride tomorrow? Let's go ride tomorrow. And it's just like that's.
Somebody should name a trail. My mom ruined my childhood.
We have a your mum. We have a Fred Tinder your mum link. Fred Tinder your mum. It's three trails. Fred Tinder your mum.
Fred Tinder your mom?
Yeah, those are the three in a row. We've had a bunch of like controversial trails that had to change. One was called Eat Pussy. That got changed to Bro Down.
If Joe was still here from Trail Features, he would not be a fan of this.
No, and also I also agree. Like, why do you have to call it something like that?
Especially in a sport.
One was called Free the Pedos for a bit, and it was like yeah, not good. Do you want to turn around to your kid and say, hey, let's go ride Free the Pedos? No, you don't, do you? No. So they renamed it Speedo.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. Remind me to show you monkey dust after this as well. There's so many UK things that you will love. I'm going to take you on a smorgasbord taste session of them all.
We're essentially going to have a gaggle of UK videos.
I love inside jokes.
I'm sure everyone in the stream does as well. Don't you, everybody? Thanks for jumping in here. 2 hours and almost 30 minutes
What
in.
have we got? Meaningful questions. Dig deep.
How do these live streams get out of hand so quickly? How is it that we can stream for 3 hours and not even notice it? We've already eaten the s'mores. We're feeling good. We're drinking whiskey. It's nice and warm by the fire. We got some rain today when we were golfing, but everybody's in here hanging out on this Saturday night. I love it. I love it. And one of the things we talked about, it's like a good opportunity for people to come hang out. And it's just like a great celebration of the community.
Segment says, my favorite trail of all time will probably be Rupert in Squamish.
Okay.
It's one I will actually be like, oh, I can't wait to ride this trail. That was great. And then favorite golf hole of all time is probably this one that I grew up playing. It's this first hole.
Yeah.
First hole on the course. And let me kind of draw it out for you here.
Yep.
So wait, what would be the best? Say like the tee's up here, okay?
Yep.
And it goes straight along there for X amount of yards, and then it goes straight down a hill down here, which means that you could gamble and cut the corner and hit the green, or you can, and those are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Plus, I have many good memories from that golf course growing up. It was very much a safe place for me to go to when I was younger, because I didn't have many places that I really fitted in.
Yeah. Gem MTB says, what's the best trail name you've seen?
Oh, best trail name I've seen. I mean, I just talked about those, but I feel like I have to come up with something different now.
Yeah. Those can fall into it too. That's pretty good.
Yeah, like
tomorrow's pretty good. I like that one.
Actually, okay, so another Gary McFarlane trail is called Unrelated Dead Guys, because he built it for in memory of two of his friends that died.
Yeah.
But neither of them knew each other.
Yeah.
So he called it Unrelated Dead Guys, because that's what he built the trail for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
That's pretty good.
That's a good one. There's a whole. I used to know a load of them. Like Credit Line was built because a guy had no job and he was just using his line of credit to feed himself. That's why, yeah, Credit Line.
Yeah.
What else? Most of them have kind of got somewhat unimaginated. Bony Elbows, no, that's not got anything. Hueso, no. In-N-Out Burger, no idea why. Oh, there's one in Queenstown called Single Track Sandwich, but originally it was called Turd Sandwich because someone took a shit while they were digging it. And it got renamed. That's a funny one. If it's about poop, that's a funny one. Oh God, there's anyone? No. There's Rude Rock is called in. Have you heard of that trail, Queenstown?
No.
Pretty famous.
No.
It's like a really big flow trail, epic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember the first time I rode it, it was like, wow, this is unreal. Like, you can see, you're basically riding down the side of almost on a ridge of a mountain, and you can see like everything so far. And it's called Rude Rock because there's a rock that's shaped like a penis.
Oh.
And it's damning. It's damning.
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
like a penis. So yeah, there's a bunch of funny trail names, but yeah, I can't think of them all right now.
I think it's a solid list. He asked for one, you gave him like 7, so I think we're in good shape. Paul knows talk about tires that aren't Kenda's. Let's change the subject. Why would he? He's sponsored by them. Golf. We're not talking about golf. We spent a ton of time.
No, we don't.
Golf,
Yeah,
right?
I'm done talking about that.
Favorite golf hole of all time. That's an interesting topic, though.
We did that.
Oh, did we?
Yeah,
Scott
I answered that
versus.
question.
Audio on the whiskey cork was spot on. Perfect. I like it. I'm planning this. Biker says, if Paul beats my time, I'm on next week. No, dear God, what are you guys trying to do to me? Robert was legendary. He was Robert could have gone for 7 hours. No question about it.
You wait.
No question about it.
No, come on, chat. There's 48 of you in here. What camera are we on?
And this is again, this is a prime opportunity to discuss mountain biking.
I will literally answer anything. Like I have grown past the point of dodging questions.
Yeah. For better or worse.
But I bet anyone.
Just don't ask him if he actually likes me or not. I don't know if I'm prepared for that answer.
Here's the thing: the chat will only give me questions about gear.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all mountain bikers can talk about.
Yeah. Mountain bikers love gear.
Why?
They love their gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And the gear pricing and all that stuff. Yeah. Paul, if you were a character on the Goonies, which one would you be?
I'm so sorry, I've never seen that movie.
What would you just say?
Never seen the movie. I know there's the Hey You Guys. That's the Goonies, right?
Yeah. You've never seen Goonies?
Never seen Goonies.
Like, not once?
Nope. Just in the same way that you've never seen Free Solo.
That's not even in the same discussion topic, all right?
You're right, Free Solo is
Goonies
literally an Oscar-winning movie.
Goonies is probably one of the greatest American films in history. In fact, it is the greatest American film in history, all right? I'm going to say not even American film. It's one of the greatest films in worldwide history. It should be in the Smithsonian Museum of Filmography.
Is it better than The Sandlot?
Yes, but just by a touch. Just by a touch.
One roll, one revolution.
One frame better than The Sandlot, all right? The Goonies is sacred ground.
Unprofessional Carl asks, what age did I lose my virginity? I was 15. There you go, just to prove.
Overachiever.
100? No.
Underage achiever. Damn it. There you go. Jeez, if Paul could make the perfect trail snack, what would the ingredients be?
Probably Coke.
Cocaine?
Can you imagine? It's like someone's like, oh, just eat this. It's like, oh yeah, it's the Jeffrey.
Yeah.
What's that movie from? Scott Russell Brand, like, get him to the Greek.
Get him to the Greek. That was a good one, dude. Yeah, the Jeffrey.
Touch the wall. They're all in the same place.
Touch the furry wall.
Okay, so look, how has he not played pinball before? Because I didn't grow up in the same country as you. We didn't have arcade machines anywhere. Like, that's just I guess a fact of life.
Look, where he grew up, all they cared about was football, and realistically, they'd go to football games every Sunday and every Saturday, and they would get in fights, and it was a religion to them. That's what I think. That's not what happened.
Have you watched Green Street?
No.
Green Street stars Elijah Wood.
From
the Lord of the
I
Rings.
might have seen that, yes.
And the West Ham
No, it's Green Street Hooligans.
It's just called Green Street.
Have you seen the Goonies?
No, I told you.
Point proven, Paul.
Okay, here we go. Does Paul have any kids? I mean, we've talked about literally living a life of no responsibility whatsoever. So unfortunately, no. I mean, I'd like to have kids at some point. Don't know how many though. I feel like I grew up as a single kid.
Yeah.
And like all I had was 2 other cousins, and they were all single kids.
Yeah. I think that explains a lot also.
My mum grew up, but then people say this, but then I'm very confident I could just go and talk to anyone. I feel like that's something, because if I went on a holiday, the only way I would make other friends is I would have to go and talk to them.
Yeah.
I literally had no choice.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's the difference, but.
I think you'd have especially doomed if you were like an only kid and homeschooled. Then you're in a tough situation.
Oh boy.
Not like
but then you're probably an elite athlete in the Olympics, right?
Not in a bad way, but it's funny because like, yeah, you can pick out the kids that have like aren't familiar with social interaction because of that. It's like funny, but
okay, we are actually getting some much better questions.
Okay, good.
Now.
I'm going to
now
wide.
I'm
going to wide angle. I'm throwing more fire on the thing, and let's go.
Okay. But yeah, no kids. As I said, one day, but we'll see. And I don't know what kind of parent do you think I would be?
I think you'd be a strict parent for a while until you had the second kid, and then you'd loosen up.
Oh.
Which I think is the case with all of us.
I think that's so right.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very strict household.
Yeah.
Very strict.
Yep.
Like if I messed up, things were immediately taken. It was just my mum. Like it was only her around. And she would, if I did something wrong, it was restriction.
Yeah.
And she had all the power, and what could I do about it? And I was just like, I lived in a constant state of like following the rules, and that's just it. So I don't know I feel like I would be quite similar, I think.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you have to earn it. These are the rules, follow the rules. Because she was probably the same when she was growing up.
I think it's funny for me as a parent because like, I'm a pretty goofy guy in general, but I tend to be a little bit more strict with my kids. Like, I don't know why I want them to be so structured when I'm such a goofball. Like, I don't know
But
why.
Were you structured when you were growing up?
No, I mean, not necessarily. My dad just didn't he didn't have the same sense of humor that I have as who I am. Like, my kids dig my YouTube videos and stuff, but like, it's like, hey, it's homework time. Let's get the homework. Like, I don't know why. Like, I feel like I need to structure them as much. Like, when I'm such a goofy guy, I feel like
you can still be goofy.
My son has it anyways. If you've met Franco, he's just as goofy as I am. It's like, I don't know why I discourage that sometimes, or not like discourage it, but like, because we always have a task at hand. When we go mountain biking or whatever else, when I go on outdoor adventures, it's free roam. Like, we go to town. But when it's like dinner table, it's like, stop, you know?
But that's just
normal parent. So I don't think I'm crazy.
Societal human, isn't it?
I don't think I'm crazy. I think we've done a good job with it, and our kids understand when we go to a restaurant. They understand how to behave in a restaurant. So I think there's grounds for that. Like, especially like, you need to know how to behave in this situation, because when you go to your grandparents' house, I don't want you talking about farts at the dinner table and stuff like that. Like, little things where it's like, maybe I put too much emphasis on it, but like, yeah, when we're out adventuring, it's like it's fair game.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I would be doing the same thing.
Well, now I don't feel bad about it. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for talking me through that.
Why did you feel bad about it? Like, that's just raising a good kid, isn't it?
There you go. I don't feel bad about it at all.
As I said, let me know in the chat. Is Joe messing up his children? I don't know. Let us know.
Entirely possible.
Okay. Do I listen to Amity Affliction? You're seeing them live tomorrow. Carl, like, I know, this is why I recognize the band name, right? Yeah. But I'm not sure if I could tell you a song. However, I feel like you could, like, show me a song and I would go, oh yeah, those guys. Do you know what I mean? So I probably would, but that's great.
I'll be honest, Kyle's choice of music is like, we were taking a road trip back from Sedona.
It's the same as mine.
No, it was good. Like, it was something I never heard before.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, it's just, again, like when you get...
You were in the Papa Roach Last Resort video and you've never heard that kind of music?
Well, barely ever. Like, so, but like, again, when I showed up to the Papa Roach music video, I didn't know who they were. And
I mean, I wouldn't have known who they were either.
I just showed up in a Hawaiian shirt, for Christ's sake. Everybody was wearing black, Paul. I showed up in a Hawaiian shirt, and so did Brian. We didn't know what the hell was going on.
Still incredible.
Yeah, anyways, there you go.
My favorite film, director, writer, maker, I would say I love Wes Anderson.
Yeah, he's really good.
Because it's so, like, I understand the dream of having everything symmetrical and having this, like, that is so hard to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I know he's been in, pardon me, Seko, who I'm making the movie with, he said that he's heard Wes Anderson say in an interview, he's like, oh, I'm not that particular.
Oh, God.
Like, literally, your entire career is based on being particular.
Yeah.
But then I also love Edgar Wright.
Oh, Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors in Hollywood.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz.
You know what I watched recently was The Last Night in Soho.
What did you think?
I thought it was not his best work, but I also like kept finding charm in it. Like, the more I watched it, the more I kind of got what they were going for, and it was weird, and it was like, but it still had his style. Like, so there was still things I liked about it. I wouldn't attribute it to, like, Baby Driver. I really liked. Baby Driver was
fantastic,
incredible. Like, the timing of the music, all these little subtle hints and stuff like that. And you go back and watch the analysis of what he's accomplished in the way he directs, and it's amazing. Like, it makes me want to make better videos because, like, I see what he can do, and you're like, dude, he's on a whole nother level. And if you guys don't know Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver stuff,
Hot Fuzz.
You go watch Hot Fuzz. You go watch analysis of how he makes. I've watched a video of, like, how he makes a transition in a film. And so, like, most people will be like, okay, you got to transition this person from this city to this city. How do you do it? Most movies would be like, oh, here's a little montage of an aerial shot of a city and a car driving. And it's it just accomplishes one thing, which is to say, this person went from here to here. But when he does it, he makes it an entertaining affair. Like, he'll be like, switch cuts, boom, zoom in on the plant, comes back, like, plant's dying. It's like this. And even the way he shoots it is funny and entertaining. And it's like, even transitions in his films are entertaining. And it's like, dude, it never stops. And if you really, like, see that, it's like, dude, everybody else is lazy compared to that. Like, some of those directors, like we talk about, like Edgar Wright, it's just on another level that, like, and Paul Wes Anderson or whatever. It's just like, it's so unique. And it takes so much more work to be unique versus the same old stuff.
Yeah. No, like, I'd probably say those are my two favorites.
You brought up some good ones there. My wife asked a question.
Oh, she said, wait, I'm going, would I ever move to the US?
Yeah.
I think very simply I can see many benefits of being here.
Yep.
Like, if you were, if you're a citizen, right, or a green card, you have so many different places that you can move to.
Mm-hmm.
However, the underlying thing is that the healthcare system is fucked.
Complete shite.
I would never live in a place where if I walked out the door and tripped and fell, I could be literally in debt.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible.
Just be ruined for the rest of your life.
You know, like, it's one of the things I value so much. Like, I had a crash in Austria where I thought I'd broken my back. And I got carried off the hill.
Austria?
Yeah.
Well then, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the Barbie. He's never seen Dumb and Dumber.
You're thinking of... Oh, is that? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's literally the opening scene of Dumb and Dumber.
I was gonna correct you. I'm like, you're being an idiot. I was like, wait a minute.
No, here's a reference that I don't get. Yeah.
That's a great joke.
Yeah.
But I had a crash in Austria. They carried me off the mountain. They gave me one X-ray. Then they said that actually their X-rays are only right 30% of the time.
Yeah.
So they took me down to a hospital that it was so clean. I could have eaten my food off the floor.
Wow.
Put that in, I swear down.
Yeah.
And the doctor was just like the most caring person of all time that just like, I really felt cared for.
Yeah.
I had had X-ray down there. I had ultrasound and I had a CT scan. And I had an overnight stay with food and painkillers and all the medication I needed. And I had all the medications I needed afterwards and like care. Cost me, because I had an EU health card, do not get into the European Union stuff because we'll be here for an hour. I had an EU health card that cost me 12 euros.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's just, you can take an ambulance right here and be out thousands of dollars just to get to the hospital.
It just blows my mind. And it's amazing how someone does not, like, it blows my mind how someone does not think that that is a problem.
Yeah.
And anyway, but
I think a lot of people do, but we just can't seem to do anything about it. All right, anyways, continue on.
Biking Behind Bar says, do you smoke weed on or during rides? No, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't ride under the influence of anything. I don't know how people do it. I remember when I was very young, some BMXers turned up at some jumps that I used to go to, like Corey Nastasio and this guy called Rule Erickson that you might not know as well. But he was just like hacking his bong the whole time and still riding, doing backflips and stuff. And I was just like, what the hell? And actually, most of the BMX riders in the BMX contests, as far as I know, rumors, can't say it's validate, don't take my word for it. They're taking like mushrooms during contests.
Wow.
So I don't know, like each their own. But
here's an interesting thing that happened to my buddy Jay, who different Jay than Bike Summon here, but he worked in radio for a long time. He was a shock jock and stuff like this. And one of the things they did was really interesting on radio. Like the stunt was they got with a CHP, which is the Highway Patrol, and they did a controlled environment. And they were like, okay, here's the thing: what happens when I drink and drive? So they went to a controlled space with cones and all that stuff, and they would be like, here's a gin and tonic, drink the gin and tonic, do their lap without it, then drink one, and then come back, and we'll give you another one. And so he was like, it was the weirdest thing, because cops were serving him booze and all that. But it was it was for the radio, and it was actually educational. So then they kind of gauge what happens as you drink more and what happens as you drive. And if, sure enough, you're hitting cones, you start just making stupid mistakes and all this stuff. But I thought about that for mountain biking, but I'm like, unfortunately, mountain biking is a situation where it's very dangerous if you mess up. Like, there's no controlled environment for a downhill section. Like, if you fall, you're going to smash your skull or something. So it's like, I thought it'd be an interesting style video where, like, this is what happens if you were to just smash tons of beers and just really screw up, you know? But it's like, you can't do that with mountain biking.
You're guaranteed to have a serious...
It was like, you
might not be able to walk at the end
That's what I thought about, like, getting really high and stuff. I was like, man, you couldn't, like, equate that.
So funny enough, someone has done... I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Golf Digest. Maybe it was Vice.
Yeah.
They got people more stoned playing golf.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see the effect on golf as you got more high.
Yeah. How did it go? Did they get better?
Can't remember. It was kind
okay,
of funny.
Fair enough.
Like,
yeah, all right.
Like people were like, okay, I'm definitely high right now. Anyway, so that's the... I don't understand how people can do it, but, you know. What's my opinion of s'mores now? I don't know. They're okay, I guess.
Paul, in general, seems to be lukewarm on pretty much everything.
There's some things I'm not lukewarm. I'm very, like, the thing is, like, I like to think that my opinion is very meaningful. I don't just say I like everything and everything is incredible.
But
Do
the
you know
best
what I
part
mean?
is you don't have to like everything, and that's the best part. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Vince, by the way, good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're in here. I miss you, buddy.
What sort of stuff do you like breakfast smoothies? I have a very simple smoothie situation, which is just like some frozen fruit, can be anything.
Yep.
Chocolate protein powder, and a banana. Maybe some peanut butter every once in a while. But
You're getting the smoke.
just for the first time in like
I've
3
been
hours.
great. I've been able to see for the last 10 minutes. It's amazing. The wind died down.
Yeah, yeah. Paul, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Joe's moustache turn you on? I mean, I don't think 1 to 10 is an applicable scale. It's not big enough. But I guess it doesn't need to be big enough. I'll just say 10 because what's the joke where it's like you will try 110% and they're like, that is illogical. You cannot try more than 100%.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the leader? The cult episodes from The Simpsons?
You made a lot of Simpsons references today that
But
it's
when
been
was the last
20 years since I watched
I'm
Simpsons.
so sure a lot of us will reference The Simpsons, but it's been so long since everyone's
You
seen
and
it.
Brian could talk Simpsons all night long. Brian is also excellent.
He loves
at
it
quoting
because he
Simpsons.
said, wasn't he like he'd love to be a comedy writer on The Simpsons?
Oh yeah.
But he just never did it.
Yep.
Yeah. What are the highs and lows of van life? Very good question. The low is definitely when I got woken up at 3 a.m. and someone was trying to break into my van. That was not fun. And I didn't even realize what was going on because, again, I live in a very privileged world where these kind of crimes, you don't see them very often. But actually, at university, I used to live in a pub and work in a pub that was rough as fuck, where people would bottle each other for fun. And there would be fights all the time. It'd be like, me and you out, like, clap, me and you outside now.
Yeah.
And then you just be like, okay, let's watch it happen. Like, that's how it goes. Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, I think that was it. A lot of the time, it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, sometimes I like being alone. Like, and I've had a lot of people time, and I just want to go in my van and just, I don't know, watch Netflix or something, which is exactly the same as you watching it at home, but it's just in a car. I like being able to be down here in the nice warm weather.
Yeah.
I mean, the downsides are when things go wrong and how much longer things take.
Yeah.
It really does teach you the value of like when I came here and Esperanza was like, oh, here's your towel. And I'm like, oh, I get to use a real towel. It's not a quick drying towel.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I did the rooftop tent, that really showed me how to value just staying in a bed. Because I stayed in that rooftop tent for like, a fair few days. And then I just went, I really can't take this, and went and got a hotel. And I checked in at that hotel at like the moment I could check in, and I just stayed there. And I edited the Tracy Hannah video actually there in Sedona. And then I like literally waited until the last minute that I could check out and just like had as many showers as possible. Yeah, that's funny. And like, I think, it swings and roundabouts. Like that thing that I've got is so decked out. Like, how could I possibly complain?
I would have to imagine the majority of your days is like you pull up and you open the doors and the sunset with the beach in the background. That's kind of how van life is, right? Like that's really how it works.
Couldn't be further from the truth. If you're Heather, she thinks oh my God, I didn't put the back on because I want to just have that view. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, we're going to be parking like just the shittest places. Like Sedona is just like this rare, and Moab actually has a great setup.
Yeah.
Because the moment I wake up in the morning, I need to poop.
Yeah.
And you got to go somewhere and find it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, one of the advantages, it gets you doing stuff like rather than just like, I don't have.
Like when you're here and I wake up, it's a little bit cold outside. I just want to snuggle in bed, man. I just want to stay in bed. When you're in a van, it's like it's time to get the hell out. Like, especially if you go to the bathroom, you're already out. You're woken up.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of it. But it's probably the uncertainty of having a good night's sleep. Yeah. That would be probably the downer for me.
The wind is turned.
But great question. Great question. If you have any more questions about that, actually, I'm happy to answer and give you the real world situation and answers about it. Because I know many people fantasize about it. Do you know what I mean? And indeed I did. And it's fucking great. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's really nice. But I couldn't do this all the time. Like I like a house. I like a garage. I like running water. I like a dishwasher.
That's why
it's loaded well.
I think it's the same reason why, like Brian, when Brian got the van, everybody's like, "Are you going to sell your house in Vallejo or whatever?"
No way.
And he's like, "No, I like having that. I like being close to my family and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to have both, like for sure."
Yeah. Can you do a lap around the fireplace on your bike? Nope, can't do that.
Jim.
You were a music grad, right? Yes, I was. Do you still enjoy music, or did the study demystification take something away from you? That's a great question. Finally, here we go. That's like good questions. I had a composition teacher come in my second year.
Yeah.
And he was Japanese, and he composed for acoustic guitar and tape. Right? So he would play 4 tapes at the same time, and then there would be an acoustic.
Okay.
But the tapes were just like noise, basically. And it was like really avant-garde, and I was really excited. And then he just said, "Oh, we're gonna take you back to basics." And we're like second-year university students. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna learn basics about composition." And we were just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then I just immediately fell out of love with it, because I was like, "What is?" Like, I want to be doing crazy stuff, like, and really pushing it. And he was like, "No." So I actually love the analysis of it. Like, I love listening to pieces of music and then analyzing like the structure of it. Like, I wish I could have done more of that actually, but I just wasn't good enough. For some reason, when I was, 16 or 15 or whatever, I would only do things that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
It was really weird. I look back on it, like I should have just become an engineer, because I was good at maths. I was good at physics.
But
it would have just been easy.
That's an interesting point you bring up, because it's like, if you're not afraid to tackle things you don't know how to do, like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, but it was almost like I was setting myself up for failure anyway.
Maybe, but like a lot of people are scared to try new things because it gets them out of their comfort zone. And if you're already out of that comfort zone and you're just like, let's go, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
No,
like,
but like, no, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not fantasize. It's not like, it's idealize, isn't it?
Yeah.
I idealize if I do a music degree, then I can say, I do a music degree.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
You could have been making dubstep and making millions of dollars right now, Paul.
No, it's terrible. It's so boring. Like, honestly, the boring music is actually harder to do than the
Paul
weird
the Punter
stuff.
doesn't like dubstep?
No.
I've always said this, all right? So I've always thought, like, okay, when I was growing up, what did my parents think was ridiculous? Highly likely it was like Power Rangers and all that other stuff. But when I thought about it, I'm pretty open. I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to hip hop. I listen to all kinds of cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I'm like, what are my kids going to listen to that I'm going to think is preposterous? And I'm like, maybe dubstep will have a resurgence, and I'm going to call them idiots. Like, I'm going to be like, please stop. Like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
That's got to be the drawing point, is dubstep. It's got to be it.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like, they play Minecraft. I'm like, that's rad. That's cool. Like, I get it. But like, if they start listening to dubstep and praise it religiously, they're out of the house. They're going to come live in Canada with you.
It's reasonable.
And they're going to be your cinematographers.
They're not going to live here, because I don't like dubstep.
They're going to,
house.
well, yeah. You can disallow it. They'll be
there
Uncle Paul.
There are some kind of electronic and trance stuff that I could show you, and I could explain to you why I really like it. It's more kind of, I have somewhat of a synesthetic feeling with music.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like I experience like certain sounds almost as feelings.
That's right. You told me about that. That's really interesting. Again, now we need an app to like understand that too. That's cool.
It's more like I could sit there and I could say like, okay, when I'm listening to this, I can feel like almost like a shape building and more like this. And some chords I have like gives me like, I want to like move my hands in a certain way. I don't know why. It's
that's
not
why,
like
that's why I
something
think like okay, like Daredevil, when he got his powers, all right, it was like some goo that made him blind, but he got super sensory other senses. That's you. The color blindness, you're super sensory to sound. That's your superpower, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Other than being cheeky.
I remember when we did like we were learning about music, and we would have to understand like intervals.
Yeah.
So like bar bar black sheep is a fifth, so bar bar black. And like we had to learn all of that, so maybe it was a way of like just listening to notes and figuring them out.
Yeah, but I can see that. Totally.
Yeah. Justin says, what's my opinion on places with e-bike restrictions? I mean, people are just fucking stupid, aren't they? Like, people think it's going to be like a motorbike, but that is not at all how an e-bike works.
Not at all, yeah.
And it's just like the reasons, okay, people are going to be doing more laps now. What's that going to do? It's like, okay, so you don't want more people to ride the trails? Like, you haven't planned for that eventuality? It's like, everyone's just going, they're going to go too fast now. And it's like, okay, so what, people can't go fast on trails? You're going to have like the horrible places that have like police people like monitoring how fast people are going and stuff. Like, every argument can be so disproven just with complete rationality.
Yeah. Yep.
And really, it's all ego driven. And I've said this many times. Like, people say like, oh, so I was just going up this trail, then this current e-bike passed me. Oh, couldn't believe it. And that's where I come.
They're not even putting any effort in.
Exactly. And like, that's where it comes back to like, this sport is completely built on the hierarchy of like, oh, someone is better than someone else, therefore they deserve more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's terrible. But yeah, it's just bollocks. That's what, yeah, I do think people need to lighten up about it because they just have no idea, and that's why. Who are the top 4 people you would want to ride with? Oh, that's not a bad answer.
I mean, obviously number 1's me, so I'm just going to answer for him.
I would just want to ride with the people I like. Shane, Jason, and I'm gonna say, I can't say just some certain people because then other people will feel alienated. So just, you know, all my pals, you know what I mean? I don't know. I like, no, I didn't like riding with Bobo really because he was so sketchy that I was just like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then he did, like, so yeah. So I don't know, who would I like to ride with?
I guess if we were to qualify this, it'd probably be 4 people that you haven't ridden with. Like, if they're
okay, I'm gonna say my buddy Paul,
okay,
that I used to live with in London,
okay,
Wilson.
Yeah. He's
actually been in some of my. He flew to Whistler for a week and did that.
Okay.
But actually, you know, funny enough, my the old group that I used to hang around with basically disowned me after I started doing YouTube stuff.
Why is that?
That same week when Wilson came over, it turns out that they were all coming to Whistler, and none of them wanted to hang out with me anymore.
Oh, why?
Yeah, and I was like, Wilson, why has no one told me? And they're like, oh yeah, he's like, yeah, it's because I think it's because you're doing this YouTube stuff. And
are they worried you're ruining the trails like all YouTubers, or were they intimidated that you were now a professional rider because you were doing YouTube?
No, they just thought it's fucking stupid and I was an idiot.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I've had to deal with that kind of shit. Like people I was very good friends with. They're just like, oh, you're fucking wanker now.
I'm sure my friends from high school think I'm a complete buffoon for doing this too.
But I don't think
the
so.
The amount of people that I've met as a result that would disagree is far outweighs that.
Okay, so I'd like to ride with Wilson.
Yeah.
I'd also like to ride with this guy Joe.
Yep.
Who, like in high school, it was just me and him that did mountain biking.
Yeah.
And he now lives in Alberta actually. I should really like just go over there.
This would be a great video.
I think a great video, but yeah, it's just like. But sometimes like when you make so many, it's like. You're doing the moments before a video, and that detracts from the actual moments. Yeah. Like today, we play golf. How many times did I get my phone out? None.
Yeah.
And I noticed that was the biggest difference between you guys. You guys were just like filming and everything. And I was just like, yeah, I just
look, Paul. I was fully engaged in our round of golf, our 18 holes the entire time.
For the first 5 holes, you were engaged, yeah. Until you put one in the water, and then you're just like, oh fuck this. Yeah. But yeah, I'd probably say, Wilson, Joe, I don't know, there's a few people. Yeah. Levy, I'd like to ride with. I like riding with Mike Levy from Pink Bike.
Okay.
Me and him used to go out riding and it'd just be, he's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, he will do a section of trail and I'm like coming down, I'll just hear this, Paul! Paul! Just yelling at me, like if I get dropped and then like, I'll be riding up a hill with him and then he'll say like, hurry up, Paul. I'm like, I'm going the same speed. He's like, yeah, so why don't you just pedal up and come next to me? He's like, why don't you slow down and come next to me? And he's just like, he'd just be like shouting the whole time and just doing the goofiest stuff as sketchy as possible to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to do that because I just watched you do it and that looks ridiculous. So yeah, I like riding with Levy. I don't know. That's probably it, really. I don't know. It's just, you know, people that you don't get to ride with very often. Yeah, I'd honestly love to ride with all the people I know from YouTube.
Yeah.
Around my trails that I get to choose where we ride.
I am fully convinced that I'm going to organize some sort of pilgrimage up there next year.
Just why not come this year? I know you have kids and stuff, but I feel like
it's not because of that.
You have an incredible wife that seems to definitely support you.
She's totally fine with it. Like in fact, August they're going to Mexico for a couple weeks. I thought about it, but
I'm probably going to leave in August. In all honesty, go to the UK.
No, but technically I have a job that I am responsible for, and it's like I've been taking that doesn't chain me to anything. Like it's like whatever, but it's like there's only so many times I'm supposed to go to. I don't know. Let me think about it because I do want to do it, and if I do it. I want to carve out 2 weeks. I want a road trip. I want to go up through Washington. I want to hang out with Josh. I want to go up through, you know, up across the border. I want to like do it all. And Esperanza, I told them like it'd be great to go to Whistler and bring the kids.
Very family stuff.
During the summer, they do a bunch of kids activities and stuff like that. So we can plan that. They can be active during the day. I can go ride. Then we can all like it'd be a fun like experience for everybody. So it's a matter. There's more to it than just like, hey, let me get on the road. Like otherwise, you know me, I would do it. But I'm gonna figure it out.
Someone's told you that your fire is wrong and it produces too much smoke.
Yeah. Coastside MTV. The reason why I do this is because I've got way too much hair on my chest and I like chopping wood with an axe. What can I say?
There you go.
All right, here we go. How old are you, fellas? Is that a thing?
How old are you?
I'm older than you.
I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 on April 22nd.
Yeah, I'm 39. I'm turning 40 this year.
Wow, you look great.
I'm turning 40 this year.
Yeah. How old's Brian?
He's 40. He turned 40. No, he's turning 40 in May.
Really?
Yeah. So
because he started doing his YouTube stuff when he was 35. That blows. I always have that in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think Radek started Pink Bike when he was 31.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Then I think of like guys like Jeff Lanoski, or no, it's not Jeff. Sorry, Jeff from Worldwide Cyclery.
Oh yeah. How old is he?
He's super young.
Oh yeah.
He's younger than us, and he's got like some multi-million-dollar like global bike park company.
He
crazy. He guy's a maniac.
Did it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay, we're catching up on chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, Paul has synesthesia. Like I don't know if I do, but I just said like that's what happens. Like my body reacts to music in certain ways. I've never had it diagnosed or anything. Someone suggested it. That's where I'm coming from. I don't want to be this person that says like, oh, I have this, but it's not like I don't know how it gets. Someone has said this could be a way that you explain it.
Just like on Instagram, Paul told me he was Episcopalian or something. I was like, I thought he was Catholic this whole time.
I hate saying it out loud. I just say I'm a vegetarian, but I eat fish.
Yeah.
Like that's normally the way to go. I think Shane does the same thing.
Yeah. Wait, so he's the same thing, he eats seafood or whatever? He took a pill when he came up to Kyle's thing. Yeah. I barbecued a ton of ribs. He took a pill that allowed him to eat ribs. I don't know what that did.
Oh, shame.
I don't know if he told you that or not.
Shame.
But he enjoyed himself.
I mean, we haven't even got into the environmental impacts of eating meat.
Yeah, let's not, please, because I don't care.
Hey, how much land in the USA is used to rear cattle?
I don't know.
What do you reckon?
I don't know.
It's a third.
I don't know.
Of all the land in the States is just used to rear cattle.
Cows are really brilliant and gorgeous animals. They should have all the land they need.
You should see it on the way up here. I was like, well, those guys don't have all the land they need.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Trailhead Troopers does need to make a comeback. I thought that was very funny. And also, when you were filming it, I could see the pain that you didn't have the people that would make your life easier in filming it. And you were just trying to direct everyone. And everyone, like, not everyone's a professional filmer. Like, that's just how things are.
But to be fair, John, the guy that was filming it, I was like, all right, just do this. Like, I had no script. I had no nothing. Yeah. Like, I was in over my head, and I'm so stoked that people put up with that. Like, the fact that Robert and Kyle and, you know, all these people showed up, and like Chris and all these people that didn't have to be there showed up and put up with my nonsense. Like, it was like pretty amazing that we pulled that off. I do want to get back into it. It's just been a weird time, but I would love to. I think it's a great concept, and it's pure irreverent fun. It was like probably one of the funnest things we've ever done. I think Robert would agree. He's probably long gone, but you know, Bike Some, it was one of the funnest times we had. It was so good, but it also takes time, and like I need people to be down with that. And I felt really guilty about holding people up with time. We shot that in like 4 hours. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the whole chase sequence, everything. So it was like, yeah, we need
great concept. You need me, you, and Bobo.
Yeah,
that would be the dream.
Ashley's the best because he can shit talk with the best of them. That guy, he just is nonstop. But there you go. All right, we'll keep rolling.
Robert says, if I could bring 3 people back from the dead, who would they be? That's a great question. I think. Who would I bring back? I feel like who would I bring back? I feel like Stevie Smith would be a good person to bring back from the dead on a mountain bike situation.
Yeah.
He was really taken way too soon on a motorbike accident. That was really sad. I don't know. Who else died? No?
I mean, are you talking about just mountain bikers?
I don't know about people that I don't know about. That's an interesting
If you
question.
could bring people back from life, who would you bring back?
Bring back to dead. I knew someone in the bike industry that I talked to and hung around with lots, and then all of a sudden he just fucking died.
Yeah.
That was it. And I was like, whoa.
Like if
he just died? And like
Yeah.
it was like that.
Because if you're talking on a personal level, that doesn't relate to the audience. But like,
No,
like,
but
you know.
again, I'm not that. I'm at the point where people I know are just starting to have kids.
Yeah.
Like that's really what's happening to me. Because
Yeah.
again, I grew up, like most of my life, more than 10 years has been mountain bikers, and everyone's just selfish and just wants to go mountain biking all the time.
Yeah.
But now people are actually starting to have kids, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, look at that.
Yeah.
I
don't even know how I'd like make sense of that, because like I think of my grandparents, and I wish at the time, like again, this is stupid because it doesn't relate to mountain biking at all, but I think about like my grandparents and like how smart my grandma was and how smart my grandpa was, and like when I used to go over there, I remember I'd be like, I don't want to go hang with my grandparents, like when I was younger, but then like thinking back on it, they were fucking incredible. Like, and later on, like I really appreciated hanging out with them, but like at the time when I was younger, I didn't. Like you can never convince your younger self that, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I used to go over and just hang out with my grandpa, because my grandpa was very similar to me. Like he was kind of technical, he kind of understood stuff, but I don't know. Like you think about those people that you spent time with that like you did, like when I was younger, I didn't appreciate. But my grandma was super smart. She got what's the disease when you start to lose your memories?
Dementia.
Not dementia.
What?
What do they call it? When they start to lose their memories and everything. It's not dementia. It's what's the name of it?
Not schizophrenia.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's
You sure it's not dementia?
It's not dementia. Somebody in chat will know. But as she got that, she started to fade away, and you start to notice it when she started to reuse phrases.
Oh yeah.
Quite frequently, and you're like, okay.
I feel like you're talking about dementia.
It's not dementia though. It's something else. Alzheimer's.
Oh, Alzheimer's. Okay, yeah.
And so when she got that, it's like you start to see this person that you know like disappear in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
It's the saddest shit, man. Like it's hard to deal with.
Yeah. Like my nan is currently going through that situation now.
And you just know that.
And you're just like, yeah, she's not the nan that I knew or whatever. But
and you start to like, this person is just gone. Like they don't know who you are anymore. It's like, that's the weirdest thing. It's like, it's just awful. You just see him just do that.
Yeah.
And my grandpa had to deal with that. And then, eventually, like when he got to the point, he all his friends had passed away. It's like when he was in the hospital, he's just like, we could do this, and you could keep living. He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that's
a pretty good way to go, though. I think.
No, it's like he
everyone has to go at some point.
He has some amazing stories.
That's how it goes.
And it's like, dude, it's incredible. But it's like, you think about, I wish, like he used to take me out into, like they had a big property out near Napa, like outside Fairfield in Suisun Valley. And we would go out there and he'd rig up the fishing poles with the weight on it with no hook. And we'd sit it in the driveway and just cast out and practice casting. Like, I remember those times, like the best. It's like, dude, it's so cool. Like you think about those family members, like that, again, nobody wanted that in chat, but that's like, if I was to bring somebody back, those who I think of, like, I think of the moments when like my grandma used to bake these like buffalo chips. They were these cookies, and she would send me to school with these giant bags of cookies, right? And everybody would just treat me as a legend when I came to school. It was those things that you like at the time. I probably didn't even say thank you. You know, you think about that, you're like, oh man, like I wish I would have really appreciated that, because that's fucking amazing. Like, so all we can do is pass it forward. But there you go. That'd be cool.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah.
That's all I got.
I mean, that's really special. Thanks for sharing, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I think about like somebody, like I don't know. I don't think a lot of people that I don't know personally that died that I want to talk to.
I'm like, I guess I'm very lucky in that respect, where it's just like, I haven't lost anyone super close to me, and like my nan is definitely not much longer going to be hanging around. But I'm very much like, well, like, is this the nan that I want to remember, or do I want to remember the 10 years ago nan? Like, she would probably prefer me remember that person rather than the person struggling with her memory, and she's like, oh, I don't know, like, what did I do? Like, where did I go? So, I don't know.
Damn you for asking that question. There you go. There it is.
That's a great question. Like, it actually has value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I agree. Yeah.
There's so much in this world that's just like, should I get a fucking air fryer? Like, you don't fucking need an air fryer. Like, why not go and put that on gas and go and ride somewhere new that you'll remember forever?
Look, Paul, gas prices are so high right now. I don't even think that I could live.
Like, listen, like Torrey Pines cost me like $280 $220 US, which is like what, $280
Yeah.
Canadian or something like that. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I've put enough money into experiences that I understand the value of experiences over things. And actually, they've done many studies. I don't know who they is or whatever.
Yeah.
But studies have been done where people that have put money into experiences, whatever they meet, are generally happier than those that go out and buy things.
Agreed.
And that is something that not enough people have really experienced in their life. And and I used to be very much that same person as well, right? It took, okay, here's a great story.
Yeah.
When I was 20, I was working at Factory Media, Dirt Magazine, and I was 26, 26? No, I must have been 25 at the time. And I went to this bike race in Wales, because I just I'll just go do a bike race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I will drive from London, and then London's here, Wales is over here, and I can just stay at my mum's like partway through.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this race. Like, I'm going to go and do this race. Like, this is how it is, right? And I drove there, and I had an asthma attack on the first stage, and my inhaler wasn't doing anything, and I was like, now I need to go to the hospital and get steroid. It's not intubated. It's something else. I need to put on a nebulizer.
Yeah.
Nebulizer? That feels like something from Star Trek.
Engage.
Hold on. Wait a minute. No, I'm pretty sure it's nebulizer, isn't it?
A nebulizer.
We have to stop everything.
I will say chat is much smarter than us, and they correct us on all these things.
I'm freaking right. Yeah,
Yeah,
nebulizer.
a
It just sounds
nebulizer.
so Star Trek.
Yeah, it feels like you're going to
I haven't said it-
teleport.
yeah, I haven't said it
So
for
you
a long time.
teleported. Got it. All right.
Yeah, that was the last time I actually had one anyway. So I go to this race, and I'm like, it's happened so many times. It's not like life-threatening. It's incredibly uncomfortable, and it probably could be bad later on. Anyway, so I drive back, and I didn't want to tell my mum this because it was Sunday, and I had to get back to London so that I could go to work. And then I get back to my mum's, and like the whole time I'm having an asthma attack while I'm having dinner at my mum's house. And I'm just like, Mum, like, I'm not very happy in my job. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. Like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm not like gonna progress. I'm not saving. Like, just nothing's happening. And then she just says, you should just quit. And this is the first time she ever suggested anything like this, because she was always like, school, university, job, blah blah blah. And then she just goes, yeah, you should just quit and just go somewhere. And I was like, well, I've always wanted to go to Canada. And she's like, go there. And I was like, oh, and then this was all at the dinner table. I was like, oh, and I could go to New Zealand and go there for summer and then go that. And she's like, yep, do it. So I did. And then I went back and I went into the hospital, like walked myself in and like, I need nebulizer.
Yeah.
And then eventually they did it. And ironically, I was off work for 3 days because like they fill you full of so many steroids that you like go, ooh. Anyway, and that's how it happened. And then that was literally it. And largely, like, I have to be thankful to mountain biking because the only reason I started traveling places was because we were going to bike ride.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important if you're going to travel to have an activity that you're going to go and do, because otherwise you freaking go to a resort and you just sit there like this, just doing nothing.
You need the spark, you need the stepping stone, you need something, and like even if eventually you end up despising it, you need that something to like get you off the couch. You need that something to like bring you out and bring you into adventure. And that's what mountain biking is for me. Like when I started mountain biking, it got me back into fishing, got me back into camping, got me back into kayaking, like all these things. And it was like, all you need is the catalyst. And once you set it in motion, it's like, boom, you're off to the races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of why I was hurt when, you know, those old friends came to Whistler, and because those were the people that I started to go and do all these trips and stuff with.
Yeah.
In fact, I just got disowned because of doing YouTube videos. It's like, well.
Most of the trips I plan now are like, this place has trails, we could also go there, and it's like, oh, okay, it's an amazing place, and it works for everybody, but it's like I can also get a ride in or something. It's cool.
Yeah. I'm just amazed that someone will go and spend all this money on like a Santa Cruz or a Yeti or whatever, and then they just ride the same trail over and over again. It's like, go and spend less money. Like, that's why these guys are so good, because like the bikes are amazing and they cost so much less.
Yeah.
And you can just use that remainder money to go and do something else, like go on a trip or bike park or whatever.
I think that's the biggest misstep in the mountain bike industry, is charging more and more and more for bikes. Like the Ripley AF is like a great example of a bike that's like sub 4,000.
So many people have got those kind of bikes.
But you know what I mean? Like that's sub 4,000, whereas like now, like I rode a Forbidden Druid, which build type is over 6,500 or so, that like, or whatever, but like, we need those bikes that can bring people in, and then you can get them on the bigger bikes later. But like,
yeah, like
they're not. They don't need a $7,000 bike to start.
Listen, you can go and get the value bike of this one.
How much is that?
Not that one, but the value bike that I have. I think I did a video. It's like 2,500 or something.
And that's exactly what we need. We need more of that. Like,
so
like a giant Trance with a 29-inch wheel, not a mullet setup. Because wait, it's not mullet. Don't buy this, okay? It's not a mullet. You have to have a mullet these days.
Yeah, I would totally. Like this, if that bike didn't have a motor, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to have a new giant rein or something. But the e-bike, the geometry is like perfect for me.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, because I want to do more, I want to go back into the bike park this year, but I can't go into the bike park on that thing because thing would just get trashed.
Yeah.
And I'd get trashed as well. But a giant rein, like the medium and the large, is such a big size jump.
Yeah.
And that, I always thought like, oh, maybe I'll just take the battery out of that one and just ride that one because that would be sick.
But I love the idea of like just having more bikes to bring people in. Like, let's get that entry-level bike. Let's get them really.
But you can go and buy a second-hand bike. It's like, it's not about that. It's about about people's inability to go and spend money on experiences, and they just want to own things.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
And that's the problem.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's 100% a good point. Like, that's why I was a big proponent of saying, like, in the first Sedona video I made, I'm like, if you haven't come there, come here. And it's like also a way of saying, like, it's not that hard. Like,
it's not.
Meaning, like, a lot of people that know me live in California, Northern California, whatever else. I'm like, it's not that hard. You can put some gas in the tank. You can drive 12 hours. It's not that long.
Yeah, sleep in your car.
You can get a place to stay.
Sleep in your car for the first time. Try that.
Yeah, but even then, an Airbnb is not crazy, especially if you split it with some friends. You get 5 friends together and it's not that hard.
No.
And people often think like these places are unreachable. Like, and you're like, you could go ride in Washington right now. You could take an 8-hour trip to Oregon and have some incredible riding. Like, that's a weekend trip. That's not that hard.
Like, listen to this. So I went and watched. So this golf podcast that I listened to and watched.
Yeah.
They had like they had a match where it was all 4 of them versus one of the PGA pros, and it's like, and they were like, oh, it's in Phoenix. Like, you can come and watch. And I was like, well, I want to go watch then. Like, I can do this. I met a guy there. He was just like, yeah. I was like, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from California. I was like, oh, cool. Like, when did you get to Phoenix? And he's like, this morning. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I listened to the podcast on yesterday, and then I looked at it and I figured it out, and then at 1 o'clock in the morning I set off, and now I'm here. And I was like, you drove 7 hours? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you're fucking badass. And I was like, look at this guy. And I was like telling all the people on the podcast, like, this guy drove 7 hours just to come and watch this.
Yep.
And it's just like, and he was just so like, you know, a unassuming guy. He wasn't like, you know, fucking me, loudmouth and everything.
And that's what cracks me up. Most people think it's like unattainable for some reason. They think it's out of their wheelhouse.
What excuses we got? Like, I can't wait for, like, not. I know what will happen. There'll be loads of excuses in here. No, there's not enough. Maybe people were just
Paul Shore's still alive, isn't he? Case study. Jeez, yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paulie Shore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trail Feature says, to be bold, I think that most people don't need more than a $2,500 bike. Even $1,800 bike is pretty damn good for.
But then again, we get into this conversation about like, oh, what should you buy? Blah 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 blah. But it's not about that, and people just miss the point so many times. Sorry, Joe, to throw you under the bus like that, but it's just like, again, people in biking are just so obsessed with the things. Like, I remember I did the Sea Otter Enduro race.
Says the guy who has custom-built clubs for himself. I would be curious to know how much your clubs cost.
I'll tell you. I think, well, I managed to get a bit of a discount. I know someone that works at Callaway. I think the irons were like $1,000 or something. I think the driver was like 700. The 3-wood was like a couple hundred.
But there's something that we proved on the course today, which was that
Oh, yeah.
having the right gear is also beneficial. Okay, here's an example. Here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. As we were out on the course today.
You were amazed by this, weren't you?
No, I knew it was. I think it's really fascinating, and this is great because
Yeah.
it's a great proving ground. So Paul gets up, he grabs his driver, he hits a shot. Boom, looks great, covers a ton of ground, and he hit it okay. Like he hit his drive pretty good, and it did great. Like it did great.
Could have
Then
been, but that could have been better. That was like
that's what I mean. Like your shot.
That was probably 6.5 out of 10.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
your shot on your driver was pretty good, and it went really far. All right, it looked really good.
Yeah.
Then he grabs my driver, which I grabbed these shitty. I've had these clubs from Big Five, which is like just a chain, whatever. I bought them for cheap a long time ago.
Yeah.
I still have them. He's like, let me just try with your driver. He crushes it, like
That was
100%.
That was a 9.5, 10 out of 10 strike. I was
9.5
like, I
yeah.
couldn't have done that any better.
100, like really beautiful shot. Like boom, we're all like amazing shot. At least 30 to 40 yards less than his club.
Yeah, but then you
Yeah.
got Jay's driver,
Yeah.
which in no way is suitable for you for
Yep.
many reasons.
Yep.
And you hit it, what was it, 20 to 30 yards past the drive that I smoked
Yep.
of yours.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, that's just...
So there, like, it's funny you argue, like we argue gear and whatnot, but there is a point
But again,
where it's like gear
look,
matters.
this
It's
has
cool.
got this stuff is literally, you know, I've got XTR in there.
Yep.
I've got like Grip 2 dampers. I've got a carbon frame. It weighs nothing. Right, I go out and ride the value trans.
Yeah.
Right, I'm like, yeah, this is heavier. Like it's harder to get up the hills. Like the suspension isn't as good. Like yeah, obviously it's going to be better.
Yep.
Like, but you know, it depends if you want to let that bog you down.
Yeah.
Again, I'm in a privileged position where I've always had discounts on bikes because I
Yeah.
work in the industry and, you know, I've made friends and people have helped me out for whatever reason. And now I've built up a following that I have value that I can bring to people.
Yep.
And thus, you know, they pay me to be featured in my videos.
Yep.
That's how it goes. Like I earned it. Like that's the thing. But like, again, we're not trying to make that point of like,
No,
oh,
no.
some people can't afford it. I'm saying that the biggest point is that people will not spend money on experiences. They find it hard to spend money on trails because they just want to own things.
It's a great example. Like, so when I go on vacation, oftentimes all my money is spent on local cuisine and dining experiences.
love
like,
it.
I don't bring back trinkets.
Yeah.
I spend all my money on like, I heard this local dive spot is like great for like the poke. Like when we went to Hawaii,
Yeah.
I ate poke I love local cuisine. I love trying local restaurants. Like
Yeah.
that's where all my money goes is the experiences versus like, I brought back this coconut bra, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's the same on a smaller scale. It's the same thing, meaning
Mm-hmm.
like, I totally agree. Like I love the idea of like taking your money and not buying a new TV, but go take a road trip to a place you've never ridden, spend a week in a town that you've never ridden,
Yeah.
meet new people. Like Chasing Epic is a great business that does some pretty amazing stuff. They organize these group rides, and like we did a group ride with Brian out in Crested Butte, which is
Yeah.
still one of the most memorable rides I've ever done.
Yeah.
Trails that they guide you, they handle the room and board, everything, and you just show up and ride, and it's like, that was an amazing experience, and I still remember it as one of the best riding experiences I've had to this day. It's like, I took my money and used it for an experience that, to this day, I'm like, dude, that's one of the greatest places I've ever ridden. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that idea where you go see a new thing, meet a new town, meet new people, whatever it is. That's why Sedona is a small example of that, because it's like, if you've never done anything like this,
Yeah.
go here, go on these shuttles, do on these group rides.
Yeah.
You go on a group ride, I guarantee you meet 2 to 3 new people you've never met before.
Yeah. You'll have something in common.
You have something in common.
Yeah.
You get like, you start to form that brotherhood, which when I started riding, I didn't have. And if I had an experience like that, maybe I would have met friends that lived, oh, you live in Arizona, you live in Colorado, cool, I'll hit you up. And all of a sudden, you start to build this network of riders that you didn't have before. And it's like, all it takes is a little bit of money and a little bit of adventure. And it's not that
Yeah.
hard. It's really not
Yeah.
that hard.
Yeah.
That's our point, right?
Yeah.
That's what we'd agree upon. We'd
Yeah.
agree upon that.
And I think this is there's just so many, I've said this to a bunch of people,
God.
you know what I mean? Like, and they're just like, yeah. I think that's, a lot of people, well, there doesn't seem to be many people saying like, oh, I would never do that. Probably because I'm saying, oh,
Yeah.
there's going to be loads of comments. But Yeah. Au revoir, Kyle. I feel like we're definitely getting towards the end.
Yeah, we've been almost 3.5 hours. Can you guys in chat believe this? 3.5 hours. Like the fact that Kyle's been here the whole time.
Easy day. Yeah.
This is not, this is par for the course, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
Because it's a golf reference.
Yeah, and again, I think actually case studies brought up. I've brought up this point that actually golf is way cheaper than mountain biking, but anyway.
I don't know. I've invested very little in my bike since I bought it. I bought it, and then that was it. That's all.
Yeah.
You guys saw my recent reel where the new Axis.
Esperanza's asked a question. She says, Paul, name 3 adjectives that describe your channel.
Okay.
Hopeless, washed up, dead. No, I'm jesting. I don't know. Like the problem is, like, if someone says, like, "Oh, name, what's your channel about?" I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Which is always my like golden rule. Have a thing that it used to be about me getting better on a mountain bike.
Well, I remember that video you made where this channel is now dedicated to the new rider or whatever that video was, which was incredible. And then
the what is a punter video? Yeah.
Well, that was.
And it was, and the whole year I did do those videos. Yep. But again, it's like, and I've done a whole bunch, like taking people down their first black trail.
Yeah.
Like those were fun.
Yeah.
I like those. And I like rewarding people like Patrick for, losing so much weight and having such a positive, impact on his life.
I will say, I really do think that there is a zone that exists that is for shepherding people into the sport, which is some of the stuff you've done, really, right? Like, because I've been on a trailhead before where it was obvious the person that was riding didn't know anything. Like, it was like, I remember I was riding at Darrington, which is a place that's kind of like my backdoor trail, right? I've ridden there a bunch of times, and I got off the trail, and this woman came down, and she was obviously on a bike that wasn't really like, and so I was like, how was the ride? Like, did you like it? Because I love that trail. Like, I've done trail work out there and all that stuff. She's like, oh, it was a little much, like, because it was obvious she never ridden it before. It was chunky sections, all this stuff. I was like, oh, like, and I just really like was excited to tell her about all these places that are great for beginners. Like, go to Granite Bay, and here's a way to find cool people to ride with. Like, all these ways to like be like, there's so much. Don't give up. Like, think about like if you had just started something and it was so hard and aggravating that you're just like, this isn't for me. But if you had the right support structure and you had the right place to ride that was like, oh, this doesn't kick my ass. Like, this is so fun. Like, if you had that, you would just be full on. Like, all it took was the spark, right? I think about that with like new mountain bikers where it's like, if you're in over your head, maybe like you could get deterred so quick.
Go and get a lesson.
Yeah, and there's like MTB Experience here, which is like a all female like coaching courses and all that stuff.
And actually, that's another thing that women are so good at, and men fucking suck at, is going and getting lessons and education. Like, I'm pretty sure that more ladies get coaching in Squamish, and they all have better form, better technique.
I still love the idea of doing it. There's a guy that Brian and I went to high school with, Ian Massey. He runs a local. He used to race and all this stuff, so he does mountain bike coaching. And Brian did a video with him, and that was
I need professional help.
Yeah, that was Ian Massey. And so he's local, and he's like very adamant about teaching people to ride, and really like everybody praises it, like what he does.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be more promotion of it. Like,
men have too much of an ego.
I certainly don't. I told him, I was like, I can't wait to go meet with you.
You are the exception, but like largely, like, people have no idea what they're doing, and it's just like, or they'll go and get lessons about like how to jump.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not important.
Yeah.
What is important is understanding how to brake, understanding how to corner, and understanding how to descend and like your body position.
Yeah.
Like, those are the actual important things. Jumping, like, don't worry about it.
You really only see jumps at like bike parks, and that's it. Like, you don't see like a traditional trail. You just don't see them. But again, that's not a bad way to enjoy a bike. But it's like, that's like, if that's all you're gonna do, great. But like,
it's not gonna help you be safe.
Yeah.
Which is what people really should be thinking about in the first instance, right?
Yep.
Like, that is just fact. But people won't.
I know.
People are just like, I want to do jumps and drops. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to do drops. I want to get better at drops. And it's like, why? That's not. You probably spend maybe
Yeah.
2% of a trail dropping, whereas actually mountain biking is just cornering. Like that's all it is.
I think about like most Northern California rides are like flow trails and stuff like that. We don't see drops. We don't see jumps. Like that's not a natural feature on trails here.
Yeah.
So when we ride, it's like when I go to a bike park, it's all foreign to me. And unless I go to a bike park all the time, which I don't want to do, I'm just not going to see it quite a bit. Like, so it's like, yeah, it's like, I like the chunk. I like all that stuff because that's stuff I see. Like, I like to really get good at that stuff. So again, there's no wrong answer, but it's like, yeah, I like the idea of instruction and I'm totally open to it. I'd love to organize a group instruction seminar where it's like, hey, let's all get together with Ian and let's all go have a good time and really like pick his brain and learn. And that's one of the things like Dirt Days, which MTB NorCal is a local group here. They started doing, last year was a big event. This year it's going to do it again. They do clinics. And so like you can come out there and do cornering clinics and some other stuff while you're out there. It's like, dude, all that just like breaks that barrier of like, I'm too good for that. And then you like learn something that really improves your skill. Like even a minor thing, you're like, oh, this is a good idea. And then maybe those people will start to get involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can hope, but
one can only hope. But, like it's hard to do that when I'm already probably the greatest rider I've ever known. You know?
Yeah. So yeah, back to Esperanza's question about name 3 adjectives. What do you think would be 3 adjectives you describe my channel?
Oh man,
I can't do it.
I would have to know what an adjective is first.
It's describing a noun.
A noun's a person, place, or thing?
Yes.
Look, I'm not
so
a
you
well-educated man.
You are a funny guy.
Yeah.
That's an adjective.
Okay.
But if you did something quickly, that would be an adverb.
Look, I didn't know that we were going to get involved with English lessons here tonight.
Well, I mean,
and while I speak proper English, Paul,
your dual language wife is asking a very basic question.
She teaches the kids, and they're like, "What's a whatever?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm an idiot. I feel like an idiot because I don't know what the basic English terminology is anymore."
Yeah, Jay said that he's been having more people ask him for bike lessons than golf lessons.
Yeah.
And I would put it to him that today is like the first day he's been to a golf course in 2 years or whatever it is. So that's probably why. Yeah. But I bet golf is fucking booming, man. Like, there's so many people. Every coach I know has a bajillion lessons booked up.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, how about doing something like Robert did on his B-Day and had people and YouTubers come out to ride Camp Downieville? Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
Robert couldn't run it.
We were talking about that today. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie, like he tried it, but then I think it was a financial thing, or I don't know. Like Robert just wants to be a millionaire from mountain biking. Robert, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, that was the cat. Jeez Louise.
What the hell?
The cat just like jumped over the bush or something, jumped over the fence, and now he's like, oh my god, what was that? Yeah, I don't know. It's not quite as easy. I mean, you could do something like that for Whistler, but I don't know. It's lots of different people.
I'll do it, and I'll have 2 people show up, Charlie. That's what will happen if I do it.
Yeah.
I have discovered that I have no real influence. Like, if I try to organize something, nobody gives a shit.
Why?
But like, meanwhile, like people know who I am. Like when I went to Sedona, like I didn't stop talking the whole time. Like it was just crazy talk. But like,
that's why I bought those sunglasses. Tell them that story.
Yeah.
I mean, I fall like we really should wind this down at this point.
Yeah, we will.
But you can tell the story of how I literally hid from you in plain sight.
He brought these like
amazing sunglasses. I can't wait to talk about them.
They are amazing. What would
you
define them as? Like
jewel bow.
Like these? Wait, no, like these.
Something like that. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Paul the Punter. Did you know I have a mountain bike YouTube channel? Can I tell you the bit that I had planned tonight, but I didn't have time to set up?
You were going to just impersonate Austin Powers and assume that that's how every English person talks?
Can I tell you the bit that I had planned for tonight?
Go on.
And I spent money on this.
Okay.
Can I tell you about this, Paul?
Yeah.
I want like very little reaction from you.
I mean, you don't want much reaction?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to get it.
All right.
Here was the idea. I went to Target with the kids and I bought a miniature those shitty swimming pools that cost $10, and I was going to fill it with water so that we could place it right here in front of us. And that way I was going to put a British flag on your side and an American flag on my side so that we were across the pond from one another. Now,
and you didn't do that?
I took it a step further because you saw how much I had to set up out here. I was going to take it a step further. I was going to get a whole box of tea and throw it in the pool at one point.
Oh my God. And once again, once again, Joe, let's just reiterate basic history. It's American history, actually. It's nothing to do with me. But that is an American political thing. Nothing to do with Britain.
We didn't like the taxation from the British. That's what it was.
No, it wasn't.
Hold on.
My God.
I'm going to bring it right now. Hold on. Those of you that stuck around are in for a treat. Hold on.
No, but you've ruined the joke now. Okay, look. Boston Tea Party.
Okay, let's imagine
Now,
for a
I want
moment. Let's imagine for a moment.
Everyone that's watching this needs to understand that, oh my God, you really did.
Here's the comedic timing. It was going to be like this. It was going to be like this. I was going to do it like this.
You could have, I don't understand why you didn't do it.
like this.
Why didn't you do it? But why didn't you do this?
I didn't have time, Paul.
You really did have time. So all you had to do was fill that with water and put 2 flags either side. That's all you had to do.
You know how busy I was? I set up 3
Yeah,
cameras.
I do know.
I got
I
the
was
lighting
right
set
here.
up. I got this.
We've
I
been
got
playing
that. I had to
golf
get the
all
fire prepped. I had to chop the wood. Then I had to redesign thumbnails all by myself.
No, you didn't read. I did the thumbnail and the tile.
This is what happens when you come on a fireside chat. You never know what to expect. Look, there it is.
Literally, the Boston Tea Party was an American political and mercantile.
Because the king was
protest.
taxing them for more than they wanted to pay.
The target was the Tea Act, which allowed the British East India Company. East India.
It was the British.
East India.
It says British at the anything at the start. Anything at the start of the sentence is the most important part of the sentence.
So the Boston Tea Party, the most important part is Boston.
Yeah, it was in Boston.
Okay.
Obviously.
To sell tea from China in American colonies without paying taxes apart from those imposed by the Town's Head Acts.
So what I heard there is the British wanted to charge them more money.
Oh my God, listen to this. This is horrible.
Yeah.
The Sons of Liberty strongly opposed the taxes in their act as a violation of their rights. Wow. Never heard of an American doing that. Protesters, some disguised as American Indians, so now we have a racist situation, destroyed an entire shipment of tea sent by the East India Company. So it's an Indian thing. I mean, it's literally the first paragraph on basic research, I guess. I don't know.
It still says British in front of it.
Oh, to protest British Parliament's tax on tea. What that was not... Once again, Wikipedia just proving to be a bulletproof source of information.
God damn it, Paul. Anyways, I'm glad
we didn't learn about anything to do with the Boston Tea Party.
History is not my strong suit. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we've been at it for 3 hours and 35 minutes. It's time to call it a night. 41
new
viewers.
record.
The fact that
He's done it
it
again.
is a new record. The fact that you guys stuck around means a lot to me. I'm glad you guys were here on this Saturday night. Look, if you guys are coming in after the fact, I guarantee you're not lasting 3 hours and 35 minutes, but it's a new record. And I don't like this trend of everybody setting new records on this because my wife's going to absolutely stab me right in the heart for this.
She is adoring the peace and quiet right now.
She can't wait to get rid of me. Yeah, 100%. But look, I appreciate everybody being here for this live stream. It's another fireside chat. I've got some guests lined up. I'd love to have Derek from Dialed Health on, who runs health programs here, and he started an online business, really doing some incredible stuff. I want to get him involved, so I'd love for you guys to hear what he has to say. He's actually a funny guy too, so we're going to bring that out. We're going to get it going. But having Paul here is a pleasure. He's not going to be here very long because he's traveling back to Canada, and I'm stoked you came by, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah, it was great.
We got more adventures ahead of us. Like we're going to.
I'm going to hang around indefinitely.
Yeah.
I'm sure people want to know where I'm going next. I'm probably going to go to Yosemite after this.
That'll be nice.
To do my Alex Honnold pilgrimage.
Yep.
I've done the Tiger Woods pilgrimage. Time for the Alex Honnold pilgrimage.
Yep.
And then I got a tea time at Chambers Bay on the 28th. If anyone wants to come on down. That's an amazing golf course that Jason never stopped going on about. And then gonna roll back home. But because of the amazing American border control, I have to go before the end of the month because he can't add 3 in 1. And now I have to get a COVID test, even though they're going to stop them 2 days afterwards. However, I can still get them for free at Land of the Free, America. Peace and love.
Here's what I can assure you. The next time Paul and I live stream together, I will be in Canada with him, and we're going to broadcast from his house.
And you know what? Everyone, you're going to walk into my garage and be like, this looks much bigger in your videos.
That's what everybody says about my studio.
Everyone says.
That's what everybody says about my studio.
So what I said about Brian's Nugatorium.
Yep.
It's what everyone's going to be like, wow.
The camera adds 10 pounds and 10 inches. Perfect.
To where?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again.
Bye.
Hell of a fun, like, that's a new record.
End it quicker.
Yeah,
Bye.
no, we got to do our sign out. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here tonight. All right, we're going to close.